Show. Welcome to the KQ Show, episode 30, Instructional Guide for Your Listening Pleasure. For those new to the show, hi, I'm Kyle. I'm just a small-town boy with a prescription helmet and a large collection of stone-washed denim jean pockets. As a young lad, I had what my parents would call the gift of gab. I love conversations with interesting people and overall just having a good laugh. I'll be talking with local business owners, athletes, Becky with the good hair, and the Kroger produce section. Episode 30 brings us talking mental and physical health. For Breast Cancer Awareness Month, I sit down with a good friend, Autumn Young. She explains the battle her family has been through with cancer, what steps she's taken to help prevent her own diagnosis, and after the hardest year of her life, how she's come out stronger and happier. Enjoy the show.
So you were asking on the conversation with Megan and Katie what that turtle having sex noise is. It's this. It's not a. No, it's gentle.
I feel like you have experience with this. Have you seen? You've seen several turtles get down.
Yeah, my sister likes to send me the videos with because we really enjoy that sound.
Bestiality. Oh,
and
we're big into.
We don't kink shame around here.
We're big into animal humping.
I hope you're ready for a lot of allergy wheezes into this microphone.
Oh, it's I Lysol them.
You should.
Mm-hmm.
You should. Don't get any nasty germs on these bad boys.
Oh yeah, well. My other podcast. I almost kind of love it.
Oh.
Ooh, it's a scary sound.
It's like a Freddy door.
Hey, well, welcome back.
Thank you.
Autumn Young is with me here. So, yeah, so I'm doing a little different with the intros now. I just do them separately, So then we can... You ready?
Yep.
This is how I do it.
Stretch them fucking gams up.
Dude, I'm telling you, like, I get upside down. It's like the best. It's like the best way to sit. Like, I got this chair for my dad. It was... my dad's a larger jet, so I got a line. They were like... on Amazon, like $1,000 chair, like $300 shipped to your house. I'm like, book it.
Yes.
And they were like, there's an open box one for $250. I go,
even better.
Get a second one. So I got my dad one. And then, you should have seen my dumb ass. So like I get violently angry at only dumb things.
Yeah.
Like somebody could be like, hey, Kyle's bulldozer just ran over your car. I'd be like, well, damn. But like stub your toe, something like that.
It's done.
Oh yeah. I would just lose my mind. But no, what were we talking about?
We were talking about this chair.
Yeah, so it's winter, like cold winter.
Yeah.
They dropped both these chairs off my front porch, right?
Okay.
I get back home from like work and I'm like, God, these are huge boxes. So I'm like, oh, I'll just get a little night. We'll cut this box open. We'll drag it inside.
Yeah.
Dude, I wish to God, like, I would have saved that Ring doorbell footage of me causing just a scene. Like I'm trying to drag so basically it's inside so the porch is slippery ice. I'm talking it's cold as shit. So like I'm bundled up still.
Right.
Trying to drag this heavy ass chair out of the box, but then the box is sliding.
Oh.
So then I'm standing in my doorway trying to pull the thing, but the box is stuck and I'm going, like I bet like I'm just causing a scene. Like I'm just like, you motherfucking chair. Like my neighbors are probably like, what is he doing over there? So finally, I end up getting all of it in, slide it in, like the nail on the box, like the little staple goes all the way down my arm. So like I'm bleeding all over. I'm bleeding all over the second box.
Come on.
There's like frozen blood on the front porch. I'm just like, this looks like a crime scene. Like you can just see, like it looks like my feet were sliding all over. It looks like somebody murdered and just had it all out bad. Like I just feel like one day I'm going to be on YouTube. My neighbor's going to be like, dude, look at this guy. Because I'm kicking this thing, like I'm trying to kiss it. It was like, I was just so mad. I'm like, and it was like a snowstorm. So I'm not going to be able to ask anybody to help me out. Like, ask my 80-year-old neighbor, hey, real quick. I know you heard me out here cussing and there's blood everywhere, but could you...
Just going to watch.
Could you get me a tourniquet and maybe lift with your knees? Dude, it's so bad as I get older. Like, 'cause my dad has... anger issues too. It's like I'm like a cranky old man sometimes. You ever get like just like, and the mood will just hit you. Just I don't know, like all of a sudden 6 p.m. You know what? Fuck everybody. I hate this place.
Yeah.
just mad about nothing. Just.
I wake up that way. Like so. Actually, before so I was diagnosed with ADHD last year officially, and
I was about to say, They waited to tell you that long.
Yeah. So
I could have told you back in '90.
You and 80 other people have just not been filling me in on that.
Well,
and
we all knew.
I had a really hilarious conversation with my sister about it. But before I go down that road, before I was officially diagnosed and I started medication, I would wake up so fucking mad, just mad to be awake. Mad that I had to go do things with my time, just fucking pissed all the time. And I was like, maybe I'm just turning into a curmudgeon. Like she's in her curmudgeon era, not area. No, it's not.
It could be an area inside of an era.
Well, I like it.
I never learned to read.
Good save. Good save. So yeah, I would wake up pissy. But it generally does not hit me in the middle of the day or like for no reason. It also could be because I'm stoned most of the times.
Oh yeah. That's like when you come out of that. Well, that's like I used to honestly which I've gotten better drinking. I got a little more mature about it. Like I don't buy like bottles of whiskey. I don't keep whiskey at the house, especially if I'm off. Being off work now, I don't. If there's alcohol here, I'm gonna drink it.
Yep.
So
keep it out.
Yeah. So I've gotten a little better at that because that's the worst. Like then I just realized, especially when I was working, like if you're stressed and that, then you just drink your problems away. And they just sit back there in the back of your brain going, all right, hey, when he's done being, drunk, which usually when you wake up in the morning.
Yep.
Let's just remind him all the shit he buried deep.
Yep. It's a shit cycle.
So now I just scream cry on my front porch.
Healthy.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
He's losing his mind, and I'm reaping all the benefits.
Just covered in blood. Just in the snow in my boxers. I hate this. Like what?
I don't want to do it anymore.
Oh, like what I do? Oh, and it's my dumbass fault. I leave weights all over the house, so I slam my foot into this 30-pound dumbbell.
Jesus.
And I got so mad that my feet were stupid. Oh yeah, I was like, you stupid feet, not knowing where. I'm like, and then I go, what am I doing? Am I yelling at my feet? Like, they're like, sorry, Kyle, we got a little lackadaisical on that left turn. Slammed. It was our fault. Not you, or your
separate,
or your ADHD ass leaving weights laying all over the house.
No shit.
It's not my fault. It was all my feet.
I gotta say, man, like the revelations that have happened since the last time we talked with my brain. You've
been through a lot.
Courtney, my sister, was so fucking funny. So last year, it was like around fall, I was like, you know what? I really think that I might have ADD. Not ADHD, because I'm not hyper generally. I am an inattentive type. So like I will sit on my couch and just scroll on my phone because I have task paralysis. I don't know where to start. And so I sit in this fucking freeze mode.
It's called spinning.
Yep, you just spin out. Mm-hmm. And you doom scroll for hours. And it's like, and in my head, I'm like, you haven't changed the laundry. You haven't done the dishes. You haven't swept your house. Like, you're filthy. What's wrong with you? Why can't you just get up? What's wrong with you? And it got to a point where I started correlating that with my anxiety. And I talked to my doctor and I was like, listen, man, I think like this is what's going on. And she's like, well, I do know your history, like, mm-hmm. Your childhood stuff. And so I would not be surprised if you actually if you've been treated for depression and anxiety and it hasn't really worked, you might have actually just been treating side effects of ADHD.
Yeah, you're misdiagnosed almost.
Yeah. And so I've been on antidepressants for years and I've been on anti-anxiety meds. I'm not a big benzo person. I love me a Xanax when the time calls, mm-hmm. but like the addiction to that stuff is so real, and coming off of it, I've seen people just really have a hard time.
Yeah, a lot of times it goes the opposite.
Oh, way. You lose your mind.
And that's
because your nervous system is like, whoa.
Yeah, like it can be a bigger cause of suicide. People that get off of something that they were missing,
and they don't titrate down. They just go cold turkey, especially with medicine like that. Mm-hmm. And so she was like, well, what do you want to do? And I'm like, let's adjust my antidepressants before we go down the medication route for ADHD. Like, I want to try some behavioral shit, see if it works. And I did like little shit that I had read was helpful. Like, if you're a person that goes grocery shopping and then you forget that you have food, you can rearrange your fridge so that your condiments are in the vegetable drawer, mm-hmm. and your veggies are there when you open it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We must follow the same TikTok.
We have to.
Absolutely.
And it's so helpful.
Dude, I have had so many rotten shit in my vegetable. What's a humidifier drawer? A humidor?
Yeah.
You know what goes in there? Those old cheese slices that turn green the next year.
Yes.
I bet I can probably, actually, I haven't opened up my veg. I bet there's price.
I bet there's shit in
There's just
there.
an avocado that is made, just taken over. That's why it's in there turning the AC down in the fridge. Nope. We don't like when you put beer in there.
Personality.
Yeah, you got a whole family. It's just growing
Sprouting.
little raisins and date family laying around and stuff.
Dude, yeah.
But yeah, I felt that same stuff. That is it. There's the dude, and he ended up talking to himself. He's ADHD.
Is it ADHD Jesse?
But
he is really funny on
he's-
Instagram.
That's like because me and Keen talk about it a lot. Like it is weird if you. Because Adderall became such a big just drug for couch kids.
It was a party drug.
Yeah, well, if you didn't have because people would think, oh yeah, it's a party drug. Well, here's me. I'd take one like, yeah, I'm all set. How you doing?
You're
Like,
centered.
I'm good. Other people taking like, just so it's like, yeah. And then I talked to my doctor about that. I was like, hey, is there something? Because I still don't. In fact, I sweat so bad, and the amphetamine salt that's in any type of Adderall or whatnot.
Yep.
That will make you more hot. So I was asking, is there anything new that they've invented? She's like, there's so many experimental shit. I'm like, look, I've taken the same thing since I'm 20. I'd rather not change anything.
Yeah.
Because there's stuff out there that is insane. I remember my doctor one time, way back when I was like 25, she put me on Vyvanse, it was called.
That's what I'm on.
Holy shit. It reminded me of the movie Limitless. I would take one of those. You didn't need to eat, sleep, nothing. You had it wasn't that you were smarter, it's just that you had all the you could get I would smoke
You could finish a task?
I could smoke 3 whole packs of cigarettes. I didn't sleep. My skin was dying. I was aging so fast.
Oh no.
And on top of that, covered in sweat. I'm talking I am 90% covered in sweat most of the time.
Oh my God.
That's my regular day.
Yeah.
I'd say maybe 60 to 70%. I got back to the knee sweat going
Yeah,
right now.
you're a sweaty fellow.
60% of me, damp all the time. This shit, we went golfing. I sweat so bad on my golf shorts that there was a sweat line going right down the middle
Of your
and a
butt?
line under the cheeks. Looked like I sat on a wet cross. And it was dripping. He was like, dude, are you okay? Like, he was watching it come out of my face. I'm like, dude, I'm going to die. Whatever she gave me, I think before this prescription is over, I'm going to die. I went back like 3 days later. I called her. I go, what did you give me?
What'd you do?
I haven't slept. I have a gray beard. I don't know what's happening. It
I'm
was,
slowly turning translucent like a salamander.
yeah, and then she, oh well, that was because basically that was the big time where if you're a pharmaceutical salesperson, you just go and hey doc, if you buy this, I'll give you whatever. So she was just throwing shit at the wall.
She's like, try it.
I was like, I don't
Oh,
know who takes this or what it's supposed to do. And then I knew my other buddy who took it. And he's like, yeah, I just took one. I go, yeah, that ain't right. Because there's definitely a difference in that type of stuff.
Yeah, I actually hated Adderall. Because most insurance companies, they make you do that bullshit where you have to prove that you need the more expensive medicine, right? So they start you on a medicine. Adderall is very cheap for pharmaceutical companies because there is, I can't remember if Adderall has a generic. I think they do.
Yeah, I've been on generic Adderall since.
So Vyvanse did not release a generic version until last month.
Jeez.
So it has been name brand only and it's super fucking expensive. So when she finally diagnosed me, which is before we talk about that, I will tell you, my sister, when I told her that I was exploring a diagnosis, I've been in therapy for on and off for better part of 15 years now. And I'm talking to her and I was like, I'm not trying to be it's really in to say that you have ADD right now or ADHD. Like it's become this thing. And I do believe that there's some validity to the fact that women are severely underdiagnosed because women tend to be inattentive ADD and we spin out in our brains, but we're not hyper.
And people are smarter because they're always overthinking.
Oh my God.
A guy's brain sometimes just like, huh? What? It's like, I asked you a question 20 minutes ago. Yeah. So that makes
and then you
sense.
internalize everything as being like an inadequacy of yourself because you don't understand, right? Like you don't get it. There's something about you that's wrong and broken.
I never really thought about it.
And it's really frustrating. And I just was doing really bad at work. And no matter how hard I tried, I could not get better. And so when I finally went to my doctor, I was literally in New York and for work, and I'm sitting in this beautiful hotel room overlooking the city, right? And I'm like, I am fucking miserable right now. Like, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with me. And I got on my phone, and I really love my doctor. She's actually an NP, but I adore her. And I sent her a message, and I was like, it's time. Like, I've switched my dosage up on my antidepressants. Like, nothing's happening. It's time to try something new. So I had to start, my medicine. And when I told Courtney that I had to like fill out, I had to do these tests.
Yeah,
right?
I want to ask you, like, give me some detail on what these tests are. Because my doctor goes, oh, you've been on the same medication for 20 years. You're not going to have to retest. I go, you could just watch me in the lobby and you won't have to test me.
Yeah.
What are you doing? I just grabbed all these magazines. I didn't know.
I've made up 6 voices.
I'm just holding them. I don't know what I'm doing. Did you make a fort in the waiting room? I did.
Correct.
Those chairs stacked pretty
Correct.
well. That
It's
woman's
sturdy.
fine. She's fine. They took her to the ER.
Yes. So I had to take these tests. And I'm telling Courtney about it. And I'll tell you about the tests in a minute. But she goes, I was like, yeah, my doctor's, we're working on a diagnosis. And she just laughs and she goes, wait, did you like just start to figure out that you might have ADD? And I'm like, yeah. And she just goes, Autumn, what have you been talking about in therapy for all these years?
Yeah, I kind of wanted to say, I really thought I would have assumed you'd be like, yeah, I've been on whatever for years and years.
No. And I just go, the trauma? Like, she goes, well, fair, but wait, nobody has ever said that to you before? Like, you've worked with how many different therapists and nobody has ever said, I think that you might have ADD. And I'm like, no, like I had to come to my doctor with that. And so she had me take these tests. And I thought it was going to be a lot more based on what I had heard other people experience trying to get a diagnosis.
Right.
And she's like, all right, if we're going to start you on medication, we have to do some formal stuff to like get you diagnosed. She's like, so I'm going to give you a long ass questionnaire. I'm going to leave you be. And then I'll come back and I'll get it and we'll talk about it. And there were 3 different tests. So there was one that was like how you manage your day now, right? Like, do you have trouble remembering where you put things? So it was memory based. It was task initiation, and then executive function, right? It was all those things. Like that was like, this is how you feel in your everyday life right now. And then the other one was, it was sort of a depression assessment of like, where are you struggling? Like, where are you feeling the most sort of resistance and like feeling mentally well? And then the last one was based on your experience as a child. And that one was the zinger for me because I'm going through and it's asking questions like, do you daydream a lot? Do you do you have the ability to sit still, but you're not present in the moment? Like, you basically dissociate because your mind is so busy that you don't realize what's happening around you because you're in your own head.
Yeah.
And it was, were you gifted? Which I went to a gifted school. Were you always hyper aware, hypersensitive of other people's moods? And were you able to predict things, like certain things about people or a situation? So I'm like sitting there and I'm like, holy shit.
Is this describing me? What the fuck is
no
this?
shit.
So yeah, like you're like, yeah, what do I got to do here? I think
Like, do you live in a fantasy land?
Is your name Autumn?
Right.
Like, wait a minute. Did you have weird diarrhea last week? Hold on. Get me out of here.
Did you eat blueberries this morning? I'm like, oh, wait a minute.
Did you think you covered up that fart with the sound of your shoe?
Like, do you remember when me and Lindsay used to write stories we had a notebook.
And we'd pass and we just keep adding on?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Holy shit, I was trying to remember who the fuck I did that with.
It was me and Lindsay.
Because you'd write, because you guys had awesome handwriting. That's when I started learning to do all capitals.
Yeah.
And wasn't it like somebody would write one?
Yes.
And then give it to the person they'd write, and then we kept adding on to it?
Yes. Yes, and it was like the best life that you imagined for yourself. We would write stories about.
Where do you think those are?
I had one notebook for a long time and it got lost, like when my parents split up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where that shit went. I was lucky I got my pictures back, but I wonder if Lindsay has any notebooks from our stories because they were all based in this reality of like, I weigh 120 pounds and I'm tan and I have on these shorts from Abercrombie and I have a flat stomach because, and it's this world where you look this certain way and you have access to resources, like you've got money and your parents aren't fighting. And it was completely detached from reality, man. And it turns out that that's one of the sort of coping mechanisms when you are an undiagnosed kid is like you live in a fantasy world, but it's also true for people who have been traumatized.
Oh, yeah.
So for me, I wrote off a lot of my quirks as like lingering or sort of like byproducts of my childhood.
It's like your defense mechanism.
Yeah, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I'm just, and though I would make up songs and I would dance around my house and talk to my animals and I had a boyfriend and it was boyfriend I had in high school and college, John. And I remember distinctly him going, man, he's like, sometimes when we hang out, I feel like I don't even need to be here because you're on your own island. And it was true. And I think, what was interesting about that was I realized in adulthood that is sometimes intimidating to men. Like when you are able to entertain yourself as a woman and you're able to take care of yourself as a woman, like I don't need somebody to provide for me. I don't need somebody to entertain me.
Yeah.
I don't need somebody to do that. It becomes this like, well, what am I good for if like you don't need to be entertained?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And you don't need money from me.
Because I guess I don't know if it'd be intimidating. It'd be a change of pace because I'm only saying most, just out of my experience and what I've seen. A lot of times there are females that they're in a relationship because they do need to have that sense of companionship.
Absolutely.
Where are you? What are you doing? What's he thinking? What's going on? All of that, and then like you just become so accustomed to everybody is like that, and like when you ask, what, you don't need me for anything. What am I supposed to do? Is this a test?
Yeah.
you sure you're just gonna go do your own thing?
Yeah.
Did I do something wrong?
Yeah.
Are you gonna stab me? What's going on?
Yeah,
that makes sense. I didn't even think about that.
It's true. So yeah, life's been it's improved massively since I started taking medication.
So you're on.
I'm on Vyvanse. They started me on Adderall, which was not good. I felt like I had the willies the whole time. I was fucking crawling in my skin. So you
don't get like geeked out off the Vyvanse?
No. Well, I feel like the jolt, right? Like
yeah, I mean that's anytime. Yeah, that's the Fed or the Fed. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the meth. I mean,
you don't get the.
It's the fucking meth.
But you don't get the like, because I honestly I can't like that. Like I try to stay away from. I don't even do stimulants really. I can't drink because I sweat so much, so I can't. Like, coffee and everything else makes me real hot. And stimulants I can't touch a stimulant after 3 o'clock. If I have an energy drink at 4 o'clock, I will not fucking sleep.
Yeah.
Because caffeine I respond. Yeah, I just don't do it a lot. Like energy drinks, I take one. I'm like,
yeah,
I can't even catch up to my.
It's a lot.
My speech, but so when they diagnosed you say it was ADD.
It was so what they've done is they've now sort of changed the way that they classify ADD, and they've put it all under the same umbrella of ADHD, but then there are types of ADHD. So there's inattentive, there's hyperactive. I think there's some other like little subcategories of it, but I have never been like, I don't bounce. My leg doesn't tap. I don't fidget. It's all in my brain. Like all of my busyness is living in my brain, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, I got to figure this out, and I got to figure this out, and I got to figure this. Okay, and I need to remember to do this, and I need to remember to do this. Will I remember those things? Probably not. But my anxiety does not. It doesn't present externally most of the time.
So basically, you probably. I mean, and I'm not saying this is because I'm not obviously a therapist at all, but I feel like when you're spinning in your head. Without fixing that, you just take everything and then just turns and you probably like that spins out into anxiety almost.
Oh, 100%. And you're so exhausted mentally that it turns into like I would have panic attacks because I knew, you've heard the spoon theory, right? Like you start with this many spoons at the beginning of the day when you have ADD or ADHD. You have like 10 spoons that you start the day with, and having a conversation with somebody takes 2 of those spoons. And then you have to go deal with some problem. You have to go to the doctor. You have to do whatever. That's 4 more spoons. All of a sudden, you have 4 spoons left, and it's 2:00 in the afternoon, and you're like, before you hit overwhelm and you hit burnout. And for me, I was having panic attacks because I didn't have enough dopamine. I didn't have enough spoons. And I would come home to visit when I was living in California, and I'd be out of spoons by noon because I've been talking to people and running into people, and like, you're on, right? Like you're in it. And then it would be like, oh yeah, we're going to go hang out at night. And I'd have a full blown fucking panic attack because I was so overstimulated already. And so for me, it was like, I took medication, I took Adderall, and I noticed immediately, I was like, oh, I can like get things done. Like, this is wild.
It helps you get those.
Yeah.
I feel like if anything, it says, hey, hang on to those spoons. I got it.
Yeah, it does. Like, you can keep those in your reserve, pull those out for later, because we're cool for a while. Mm-hmm. And that's how it felt. And it was like, oh my God. But they started me on Adderall XR.
Oh, yeah, that's
holy shit.
That's like the Vyvanse. That's like, I'm on like the lowest dose generic, not extended release, no little gel.
Immediate release. Oh God.
I can't, because I can't do those later releases. I tried that one time, and all of a sudden 4:00 came, and I'm like,
yeah. I felt like I was fucking body locking, like fucking jaw rocking all night long.
Were you doing it?
Yeah, I was doing and she started me, she's like, let's just start you on XR because it's easy to get, it's cheaper, and like we have to quote unquote like show your insurance that like you need Vyvanse, but I want to get you on Vyvanse because like the women who are getting diagnosed later in life, I got diagnosed, right before I turned 40. Like,
happy belated birthday, by the way.
Thank you. They're doing really well. Like she's like, my patients who I've diagnosed later seem to do well on Vyvanse, but like, let's start you on Adderall. I remember taking it. And like the first day I took it, I was like, yeah, like, whoo.
So you got you.
Oh, it was just no appetite. And I felt like I was on the verge of a panic attack the entire day. And I was like, oh, okay. And she's like, just like any medication, like give it a couple weeks. And so I did. And I went to lunch with a friend, and we were talking about it. And my friend Quinn was saying, the way that I think about it, and they're on Vyvanse now, but they'd been on Adderall XR. And what they said was, I felt like being on Adderall XR was like your gears were grinding, but they were rusty. There was, like the wheels were turning, but it was like with force.
Yeah, it's like you've never used your brain this way, but let's just try it out.
Yes.
It's like you haven't drove this car in 10 years, but let's get it and floor it. You don't need oil, just floor it. Yeah, that's and then if because I mean that's the Vyvanse. Like it made me. I was like, I can't stop. Like I'm spinning out of control.
Yes, and that's how XR felt for me. And then they said, and what I like about Vyvanse is that it feels like somebody just put WD-40 on those gears, and so it was smoother. And so for me, I stayed on it for about a month, and then they switched me over to Vyvanse, and immediately I felt so much better. I felt so much better, and I'm like, oh my God, like, and I don't, as somebody who, and you understand this, like, we were fat kids. And I'm obsessive about food, and I think about it, all the time. And all of a sudden I'm on Vyvanse, and it's like, I think about it, and I still have an appetite, but I'm not constantly in the kitchen. Like I'm bored. Food.
Yeah, food is that's because that food is, you're seeking that
the dopamine
boost.
Yeah. You want the hit. And
that's why people turn to like food and sex. Let's turn to these two things. And most of the time, it's a bad.
Absolutely.
Turn to terrible food, sugars. Turn to terrible food, or just random sex with like trying to fix those.
It's
regular,
empty.
Yeah.
You're never gonna fill the void, and you're always seeking it. And for somebody who has had a really conflicted relationship with food and my body my entire life, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, how did this never get addressed before? And I got mad. I got mad that I had worked with these therapists and I was always very honest about who I was in therapy and my struggles. And maybe they just were like, man, this bitch is traumatized. Like she's just had some shit. So who wouldn't be all fucked up?
No, and I didn't mean to interrupt you. But
No, it's fine.
When I think of stuff, again, because I'm so ADHD,
Yeah.
I have to say it.
Zing.
Or the question.
You'll forget it. Come on.
Which I'm already forgetting the question already. Hurry up, grab a Kyle. Damn it, it's gone.
We were talking about trauma. We were talking about
I'll get back
working
to it.
with all my therapists.
See, already. Oh no. Are those so there's psychiatrists and psychologists? Is a therapist? Are they the ones able to describe or to prescribe you?
No.
Okay, so I mean, because maybe they can't legally say, hey,
No.
we think you might be. So I don't maybe
There is something there because I usually would see like marriage family therapists or something like that, but I have never gone to a psychiatrist.
I won't go. I think they'll keep me. I joke about that all the time. They'll be like, we've been watching you for 7 minutes. You have all of it?
We gotta stop.
You were 7 different people, and you walked around like a giraffe making a stegosaurus noise for 20 minutes. And all we did was ask you your name.
Like, we can't let you go, bud. We can't let you go.
Also, you lit that pile of forms on fire, and you said Bear Grylls, and you ran out.
Yeah.
I don't want, like, if they watched me, like, I'm afraid to have, I would never do that, because I had a dream that happened. Like, I had a dream that I went to, like,
no.
everybody in my life, family, everything else. Like, now I'm getting, like, I think, like, there's a level of just, if a noise has to come out of your body and you can't stop it, that's like a version of Tourette's.
Absolutely.
And if I hear somebody say a funny word or a noise or something, I am on fire inside holding this damn thing and just going, Station wagon. Sorry. I heard her say station wagon like an hour ago. I've been sitting on that thing.
Just think about when we were kids. Great.
Dude, every noise. Old Stone Age. Yeah. It, like, I still to this day, like, dude.
I forgot about that one.
Dude, so did I. I hung out with Ryan Gannon just a while ago, and he goes, Old Stone Age. I go, oh, I started dying laughing. Dude, I was like,
you need to do an RP show. You need to do a River Park show.
Keep trying. Some people don't want to do it. Some people don't want to be, I'm not saying who, but I've tried.
You need to let me know offline who I need to wrangle, because I can be a charmer.
Yeah, because I have now a setup where I can do 4 mics. So that'll be good, because I've tried to get certain people. And
we need to get Pat.
I know.
We need to get Pat.
Try it. I've tried to trick him. Sometimes I follow him around with a microphone. Pat, look at me.
Well, it's not like he has a social... He's not really on social media that much, so it's like we can use a fake name. Our friend...
Colors Lawson. Pat Lawson. That's what he was in high school. He got a grade in drama as Pat Lawson.
Pat Lawson?
Yeah. Teacher goes, he's Patrick Austin. Teacher goes, Lawson. Pat goes, yeah. I go, he literally was in drama class as Pat Lawson. There was no Pat Lawson, but he got a grade. And then I remember one time Wizzy just for some reason out of nowhere goes, like, okay, like if somebody's leaving, let's say, okay, his name's Pat. All right, we'll see you, Pete. Or maybe if you mispronounce somebody's name as different. Wizzy one time goes, what up, Colors? Pat goes, you just call me Colors? He's like, what does that even mean?
Yes, sir.
He wasn't wearing different colors. He goes, what does that even mean? I don't know. So I always call him Colors Lawson.
Bring colors.
It sounds like a straight up
colors
it
on.
Sounds like a Southern wide receiver for like Alabama.
Yeah.
Here comes Colors Lawson. Like it just sounds like a straight up like
or a gigolo on that gigolo show.
Yeah. It's like such a unique name. Like, well, my parents were going to name me Beige, or they were going to go Chartreuse. So what colors? So as I get older, I can blend in all different colors. Oh, dude.
Oh, look at that ADHD rabbit hole we just went down.
Oh, see, that's also like, if I ever need to prove it, I can just listen to my podcast. Because we'll come back around. And I will tell you the one thing. Females are so good at keeping shit on track and coming back around. Like I will have podcasts where like me and another dude will just go on we go and have no idea where I come back.
Yeah.
But every time like just a minute I'm like, hey, what are we talking about? So you are boom 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 boom.
Yeah.
Same thing with both Kate and Ray. They're like, oh no, we're talking about this. I'm like, how? I can't, like my brain just doesn't.
You put a pin in it.
Dude, I feel like so my philosophy on like, I feel like your brain, let's say your brain is a bucket, okay? It can only fit so much shit.
Yep.
It can only fit so much shit. So I try to think of stuff. I'm like, look, I don't even like, and that's a question I did have. So when you're having a conversation with somebody, and maybe you might have posted this, where they start talking and you already know what they're talking about. Like you already got to the end of the story.
Yes.
Like when I'm having conversation with people, like I'm looking at them right now, like my new thing, I'm always trying to keep high focus. Because right away I'll be listening to somebody like, oh, okay, I know where she's going with it. All of a sudden I'll start doing shit.
Yeah.
And it's like rude. So I'm like, all right, just try to stay focused. But I'll be like, oh, I know where, like in the conversation, you know where. And if they speak too slow or if they can't.
It's the slow speakers
like,
are the worst.
I get it. So, what are you trying to say? You got a new car though, right? Yeah. Okay. That's where we're trying to get. How do we get there? But what sucks is I can't handle like, and I feel bad if somebody has like a stutter. I can't handle a stutter. Like it's so hard for me to.
Yeah.
Because like I want to solve my.
You want to wrap it up.
Yeah. I'm a proficient person. Hey, what do we got? Like I'm like my brain's geared that way. I'm like, yes. So when it, like without ad or whatever else, I call it spinning.
Yeah.
I will literally walk. Sometimes I just don't take it. If I don't want to, like, I'm like, hey, it's a lazy day. Sunday's football. Nah, I don't want to. I'm just gonna just lay on my couch, whatever. And I will literally. It's an actual spin out. Like, all right, I got to go to the laundry. I got to turn the computer off. Oh, I got to check the mailbox. All of a sudden, I'm doing circles, and I'm standing, and I'm actually fucking spinning around because I can't figure out what I'm doing. But at the same time, I'm holding my phone because this video is almost done, so I got a minute left of this video. I can't just stop the video. Like, I'm like, all right, Kyle, we got to do Adderall some days. We can't be doing this shit. And then I wind up.
No more drug vacations, bud.
And then I wind up in the basement. Went down there to change laundry.
Oh, god damn, what'd you find down there?
Oh, God, everything. I'm stacking boxes. I'm cleaning just weird shit.
Look at their old family photos thinking, I need to order photo albums for all these and organize them by year.
So then I'm standing there shirtless in the basement with a photo on Amazon looking up photo. And then I'm like, God, what was I going to... Oh, I was going to the mailbox. That's what it was. Yes. That's how I, like, to try to explain to somebody what it's like in our brains. Another thing is, you have an inner monologue?
Oh, yeah.
There are people that don't hear a voice.
Wait, what?
I couldn't believe it either. So I jumped down as many rabbit holes as I could.
Wait.
So this guy put online, he's like, hey, so my wife, and she's from somewhere in Asia. So maybe it's a cultural thing, whatever, but she doesn't hear a voice. When she reads, I hear my voice when I'm reading, like I have to. So you're saying you hear nothing, like this person,
nothing.
Like if you're in a conversation, like right now, like as I'm talking, my brain's still talking about other stuff, everything else. Like it's like prepping me for the next conversation. Yeah. Oh, like, how do you not? Like that might be a brain problem. Like and I looked at there are some people that just don't have an inner monologue, or and I don't want to say it's because when I jumped down this rabbit hole, it did take me to stupid people. I only mean that because it was literally based on an IQ intelligence level. Yeah. But she was like smart. She was like, I don't know what she was. She was something pretty. Like she was, intelligent. I mean, like, I couldn't imagine what. I mean, how would you even? Like sometimes if I get bored when I read, I add an Australian accent to my own voice in my head. All right. And as the next step in your leadership progress.
And then you tell yourself jokes with that same voice.
And then I realize
And
then I realize I've read an entire chapter and I don't remember any of it, so I got to go back.
Yep. Oh, yeah. You've taken a vacation.
Oh, I'm on different fantasy journeys in my head. If I read one word.
Bro, absolutely. I'm there with you on all of that.
I read a book with a highlighter. Like, I have a lot of leadership books after I read through them. And I'll give them to people and they'll be like, dude, I see you're a big fan of chapter 6. I go, what do you mean? You highlight all of it. I go, well, that just, when I'm reading, this seems important because I know my brain's going to take off somewhere else. Yeah. So when I go back, I don't want to read the whole chapter again.
It's really something else. I mean, I wish I had known this information, and I was able to do some behavioral sort of therapeutic things to help. But God, I mean,
I don't think there's really helping.
At least, I feel like I'm not losing my mind and I'm not this, horribly lazy, incompetent person, because that's how I was feeling for a couple of years. And I'm, and I left SeatGeek. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh, yeah. I got it. There's several things. In the year and 4 months, you've gone through a insane surgical procedure.
Oh my
okay,
God.
which I hope you know.
We'll talk all about
You put
that.
online, so that's the right reason I brought it up. You left your gig, and
Yep.
you've been diagnosed with the.
Yeah.
Now, are you officially ADD or ADHD?
It's all one thing now. So
Okay, it's all- okay.
yeah, it's just I think on my diagnosis it says attention deficit disorder, which is appropriate, right? It's not attention deficit hyperactive disorder. It's just I have an attention deficit. But yeah, I think that's what it says on my
Yeah, because
paperwork.
because it's deaf, because like the jittery, like I'm always moving, but that's a different, like I have like a nerve issue like my mom had, it's restless legs, like I'm always moving.
Yeah.
But
You got the Jimmy legs.
yeah. But even when that's not like, because I can tell when that flares up. For some reason always Thursdays. For some reason, like a Thursday night, once a month, can't sleep. I have to walk around the house for 8 hours in the middle of the night. I have to walk around. I have to move around. I'm just moving weights, just starting stuff. And I started to realize, as my mom got older, I would just, when I come home from the bar at any time of night, midnight, 1, 3, 4, Mom was just up cleaning at all hours of the night. And I'm going, and then I remember, and now she was never, they diagnosed her MS way late. You know, like the MS is, you will die from MS, but if you're diagnosed, it could be later than average lifespan, because there's ways to postpone, and to stop some MS. So she was diagnosed real late with that. So, but I was like, damn. So as I'm getting older, I get violently angry at everything. I can't sleep, and my legs are always moving. And I got both of their sweat.
Great.
I'm like, thanks, guys.
Fucking great.
I love to wake up in a pool every morning. Like, I don't think I could have a significant other. I wake up and I am soaked. I'm like every day. Like, I mean, I wake up and I've tried, have you ever tried a cooling? Shut the fuck up. There's no such thing as stopping it. Like, it's coming out of my body. Like, and then they were like,
what about, I'm a big fucking fan of separate bedrooms.
Oh, and I don't want to check it all anyway either. So,
well,
hey, I'm not catching fish because I'm not fishing. But even if I was fishing, I felt like these fish would be like, God, I can't stay in here. Okay,
gotta go.
The house is 46 degrees and you're covered in sweat.
I gotta go.
Like I can't do this anymore. So,
yeah, man.
All right, drink refill time.
Yeah, how am I doing here,
Jarvis? We'll just we'll let it happen.
All right, let it flow.
No. It is Halloween time, though. I was going to ask you, what was your what's your favorite Halloween costume and or experience that you've had?
So this is pretty fun. A few years ago, back when I was living in Portland, in the Portland area, so I actually owned a house right over the bridge. So when you land in Portland at Portland Airport, it's right next to a bridge that goes over to Washington State. And I lived in the city right over that bridge was called Vancouver. And so whenever I say Vancouver, people always think I'm talking about Canada, but I lived in Vancouver, Washington, and it was amazing because in Portland, there's no sales tax in Portland. And then in Washington, there is no state tax. So we lived in Washington, and then we would go shopping in Portland because it was a 15-minute drive from our house. It was amazing. Anyway, when I was living up there, that was when I was volunteering with the Celebrity Llamas. And Rojo had become very famous, and he is now gone, which is super sad. But he had become very famous because he went viral on BuzzFeed. He went viral on, I think there might have even been a Good Morning America nod to Rojo. But I was volunteering with the llamas, and it was the best little gig. And it just got me out of the house because I was remote. Mm-hmm. And we had, so that was when I started having Halloween parties. And so the first year, we had just bought like the first house that I ever owned, and it was like a really nice house in the burbs.
Was that the one that had the big, like when you walk, it had the
yes,
yeah. I remember seeing pictures of that when you got that. That was
yeah,
awesome
that
house.
was a fucking.
It wasn't
incredible.
It cheaper than living in Oakland?
Yeah. Oh, like by half.
Yeah, like you said, I have a half mansion, and
it was a whole ass fucking mansion. Like you walked in, and it was like cherry floors, and every little nook and cranny was beautiful crown molding.
Yeah.
And there was a chef's kitchen, and that bitch was only like $360,000. It was insane, but it was also not in Portland proper, right?
You said it was
in Washington, gotcha. And so our first year in that house, we had a Halloween party, and I got dressed up, which my costume was just whatever. But the awesome part, the Halloween experience was that one of the animals came to the party. So I became good buddies with the person, like her parents own the farm, and then she runs the business. So Shannon.
And this was when you rent out the alpacas.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, gotcha.
So it was a whole farm, and they were therapy animals, and so these animals were hand selected because they had a really good demeanor. Because when you take a livestock animal out in the general public, like they can be really unpredictable. And so all of these, and they're called camelids. I have so much information on camelids that
Why are they called camelids?
Because they're part of the camelid family. So camels,
Oh, so
alpacas.
camelid is I thought camel, and then I thought like you were just adding lid.
No. They were
Gotcha.
that's actually how they're classified. So they had alpacas and llamas at this farm, and Shannon ran sort of because they did work in hospitals. They went to the school for the blind, which was amazing because they were such chill boys, and it was all boys because they could not put a female animal in there because they did not want llama drama.
Oh my God, you call it llama drama?
But it really was.
That is
like,
if you got like a text, llama drama, guys, we had an issue.
We can't have a female here because there's so much llama drama. Because they're already kind of testy, and they spit at each other.
They'd be competing to try to boink this here female llama, or what? Is that what it was?
It would be like mating.
At like a kid's birthday, these boy llama just
trying to get it in.
Other llama jumps in front.
Right. Eiffel Tower it.
Yeah, they're tag teaming that llama
with their long neck.
Yeah. Your long neck.
Oh, long neck.
It was either Pat or Ryan for sure.
Yes. Oh, it was old long neck. So
So Pat, if you're listening, Autumn would like you to be on the KQ show.
Come on, bud. Just come on, round it up. We'll RP it up. It'll be so good.
Dude, I bet I still have those, was it khakis, New Balance, and then a long sleeve plaid?
Absolutely. I can wear a fit as well. I can now that all of these clothes are back in style, I'm now wearing flared jeans as we speak. So we're already halfway there. Now I just need to get like a long 90s Abercrombie like shirt with some Doc Martens.
You know what's fucked up? I still have the Doc Marten shoe cleaner. That stuff was so thick. I still have half of it left. I clean my shoes like my regular dress shoes. I got that in 2000. 2000. There's no number. I think it was 2000.
2000.
Yeah, it couldn't have been, maybe 1999.
Fucking Y2K.
Dude, it would just come, remember that, because the Doc Marten, it would come with like either came with it or like they were like, you got to get
it was fucking $200 pairs of boots.
And I think that's where I possibly got my calves from, is thinking that it was okay to wear 40-pound boots and then go play basketball at lunch.
The sandals are so heavy.
I never did this. I'm not a sandal.
They smelled.
I'm just not, I'm not a sandal. I don't like to keep my feet open out in public. Like, it feels dirty, doesn't it? Like, to me.
I think that you're always you got to be ready to go.
Yeah.
Sandals are not conducive for just fucking flipping on and piecing.
See, I got the gap. I got the big gap between my big toe and the next one. Flip-flops, they'll come right off first step. So, so I knew right away when I was younger, I was like, all right, my feet, this isn't for me. But then regular sandals, though, I can't like really run around a lot. But also, I feel like when I get home, I gotta wash my feet.
Yeah,
like I'll look at the bottom of my
dirty.
feet. Yeah, because even in here, I'm not like super clean. I have hardwood, so like it's gonna get dirty, with dust and stuff. But like that's what I do. Like with my Hey Dudes, I start looking at them. I go, damn, man, these things are filthy. But at least like when I'm walking around, I don't feel like it's in a whole seal-up shoe. Like with sandals, I get going to the beach. Absolutely. I wish you got to have some type of sandals if you're going to the beach or a pool where you just pick them off. And waterproof. That's my only thing I wish I had, because I'll just like take some fucking some Jordans out there to the beach, kick them. I got to knock all the sand out and stuff. But I agree with that. But yeah, like if there was ever like an animal, a dog was attacking you or something, like, I always I just feel like I do definitely want to be able to just take off running. Yeah,
you got to be ready. You got to stay ready.
I'll kick these flip-flops off. Yeah, as you're running across rocks, you'll be the first guy that steps on a fucking rose bush or whatever that thing is. One of those things is thorns. Step on a thorn. Ow! I'm done. Kill me. I stepped on a thorn, you guys. This bear's eating me alive because of this damn thorn.
I couldn't get away.
I got stopped by a thorn. I knew I should have got shoes.
Curse.
I hate it. Oh, shit.
God, what we were talking about. Oh, the llamas. Halloween llamas. So I was volunteering and I asked Shannon if I could rent, because like, it was a nonprofit and I wanted to like put in money, and I was like, can I are any of the boys good like after dark? Because Rojo was bad. He did not like to be off of the farm if it was dark out, not his jam. And he was an older gentleman. He was the oldest, most seasoned llama. And she's like, yeah, Rojo can't, but like we can get Napoleon. So if you ever see pictures of llamas dressed in wedding outfits, it's likely Rojo and Napoleon. Napoleon was always the bride, always the bride, never the groom. Rojo he stayed stunting in the groom outfit. So
Triple OG.
Triple. You know what's up.
That's almost 6 if you carry the 1. I don't know what that
Infinite
means.
triples. So she's like, yeah, do you want us to come in costume? And because all of these animals, they had costumes. Like Lori, who is the owner, which is Shannon's mom, would make custom costumes for the boys. And it was brilliant. Like she engineered like a special, like almost like underpants sort of situation, because, they're livestock animals and they'll just poop anywhere.
So wait, so this was
So she would put a diaper on them that was like designer, and it would hold the whole. Yes.
Whoa.
It would hold in. So if they had any accidents, like you couldn't tell because it was all very discreet.
Yeah, I guess it would be kind of if you're in a rich person's backyard and they go step in.
Yeah, you're like at a wedding and the llama just takes a shit on the bride's dress.
Is this camelid poo on my foot? It is.
So they came, Lori and Napoleon, or Shannon brought Napoleon, and they were dressed up in Roman soldier outfits. So there were pictures. I have so many pictures, and everybody that came dressed up. And I just thought that was like the funniest thing ever. Like the pictures were just so good from that night. So that's one of my favorite Halloween memories. But
oh yeah, that's an awesome one.
Yeah, I really love this season though. Like Halloween's very fun. One time when I moved to Indianapolis after my divorce, and I ended up working at a haunted house.
You did tell me you worked at this haunted. Weren't you saying you were like sitting in a bar somewhere and somebody's like, "Hey, we have a."
Yeah, we just went to go. My best friend like set up this not appointment, but asked the people at the haunted house if we could come watch auditions.
Yeah, there you go.
And so then they asked me if I would read tarot.
Yeah,
cards.
you were like, and first off, if I were like you, I know exactly where you're running the tarot booth. I feel like you go, this one. This one says you like Pringles barbecue. Am I wrong?
And because all you're doing is reading people. And if you're good at reading people, you're going to be a good tarot reader, especially if you don't lead with the bullshit of like, I'm going to tell your future. Mm-hmm. Like people would sit down and I wore these crazy like contacts, and this was actually fun for me, and it's why I did this, because I never really got to dress up every year and play with, and I love makeup and I love messing with wigs and I like costuming, and so I was like, I can do all of that. And like, I can watch like behind the scenes of like this crazy, and it was a scary haunted house. And so I took it, and it was awesome because I got to decorate my little booth that I was in. So I like draped all of this material, and I got ambient lighting, and I took things from the haunt and I decorated. So there was like dolls hanging off the wall and shit. And I looked really creepy. And so people would come in and they'd want a reading. And I would say like, listen, I'm not going to tell you your future, but I'm going to shift your perspective a little bit. So you need to be open-minded. And there's always some fucking dumb asshole, and it's usually a dude. And they're like, you should, right?
Hold on, how's it going again?
Just whatever.
Are you sure was this person okay?
No, it wasn't like you should.
He's like, well, yeah, they found out they were handicapped, and I was fired. Because
but it was like,
so they just not believers, like they're just
skeptics. They're there to fuck with you because they think they're smarter than you, but they don't. Oh, they don't get it. And so I'm looking at these fools, and you have to remember when I'm doing this, I'm also like a senior manager at IBM. So my days are filled with corporate speak, and I'm talking about stakeholder management, and let's talk about how quickly we can turn around this engineering project and whatever the case may be. Talking to, people in London and the Philippines. And then I'm hanging out at the haunted house. And I'm hanging out with these fine folks working at the haunt. And it was a trip, dude. But I liked it for a little while. But then it got to a point where it felt like it was just not fun anymore. Like
pretty mundane. It was like the same thing. Like,
well, it was like I was working a lot, and I was doing these like trainings with I had to train a bunch of teams in the Philippines on how to use like some new thing that we'd built in our Salesforce tool, and so the time difference. I mean, I was doing late trainings, and then I'd work late, and it just wasn't fun anymore. So
you're like, look, this is affecting my regular job.
Yeah, so, and like I don't need I don't like I don't need the $7 an hour for like somebody to be like yelling at me. Like we are not. I try to stay humble, but my ego cannot take being talked to like I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
By like someone who can't afford to fill their gas tank all the way.
Right.
And it's not like money is everything, but it's like you're talking to me like I'm stupid. It's triggering for me. And I think it's, some stuff that I may have seen growing up, but it gave me the willies.
No, I think it sounds like, you're a fucking human. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because basically you're describing what it's like to work in retail or being a waitress or a waiter or the serving industry with the people that we live in with this country. That's what the stupidest people make the loudest noise.
Oh my God. And it's the confidence that's the clincher for me. And so I just was like, this is not gonna work. So I dipped out, but it was wild. And it was cool to dress up for a little bit. And yeah, so I really like the season, and I watch a lot more movies during the season. I just watched Talk to Me. It was so A24. You were talking about Midsummer when you were talking with Kate and Megan, and a new movie of theirs came out a few months ago.
No, what do you mean? There's the people that did Midsummer?
Yep, A24.
So you said A24 earlier, and I didn't know.
Yeah, so A24 is the studio that made Midsummer. It made Hereditary. It made this movie Talk to Me. So it's like oh God.
Very like cerebral, like
cerebral horror.
Yeah, because that type of shit, like the Midsummer, there was you ever see like Wicker Man?
Yes,
like that type of stuff, like where you're like, damn, I am kidnapped here and I'm going to die. I'm being like that type of stuff is like, man,
it's the never get better horror.
Yeah, it's like that there's a chance that happened somewhere.
Yes,
like if this crazy alien or ghost jumped through the wall and grabbed people, like
yeah,
but like if it's something that's so. Like a psychological thriller, we're like, damn, that could happen, and probably did.
So bad, and that they're masters of that horror. And so, if you do want to, freak your fucking self out, I'll send you a list of movies. But Hereditary is really, really, really fucked up. And then they just released a movie called Talk to Me, and it is so like I feel like their horror is so terrifying because it's grounded in grief. And that, I think, appeals to the older generation, right? Like we've lived life a little bit longer. Mm-hmm. We understand the true horrors in this world revolve around loss and grief and things like that. And that's what their horror is centered in.
That's smart.
And it's very like you watch one of their movies and you are emotionally exhausted, which I thought like Midsummer, that opening scene when they find the parents,
yes,
was so haunting to me.
Yeah, that took like I still don't, I've seen the movie all the way through, but I have not sat down and watched the movie all the way through. If you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like I have to take like a mental break because like I watch a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And if you have like if you're watching like I'm back in the Blacklist, and if you watch it, it's an awesome show. So again, like any dark like criminal drama or something like that, like I can't be jumping into another scare. I'm like no, because then I'm in a dark place, and then I'm like nope. Then all of a sudden I'm like nope. I'm gonna close all these blinds. I'm like yeah. The Sphere. In Vegas, bucket list. I gotta see a concert in that fucking thing. That is the coolest thing
that
built
thing looks amazing.
Ever. You see the pumpkin now? It's just a pumpkin.
That's amazing.
Lighting up all of Vegas. It's just a gigantic pumpkin sitting there. Like if 50 years ago somebody showed a picture of what Vegas looks like, and the one that like it cracks open, and then the spaceman's floating inside, and he starts to climb out.
Oh,
like you'd be like, oh, like somebody just if somebody from like 80 years ago, you put them outside, they go, no, there's aliens. But that fucking thing is that U2 concert, like
Yeah.
like my TikTok algorithm, like I love TikTok, like their algorithms are pretty fucking spot on.
They're very good.
You know, and I'll like a certain thing here and there. Perfect.
Yeah.
And they kept sending me like the Sphere stuff when it came out, like all the different things it was doing. And then that concert in there, you're in there, and then how it looks, how they display the walls, it looks like when the wall ends, like the Sphere ends, but then there's still a whole million other people at this concert.
Yes.
And it's just like, and then when it starts, it looks like the cement was cracking. Like you're in there thinking, oh my God, this Sphere is falling out, like it's breaking.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so amazing. Yes. So amazing. Like there's not a lot that impresses me with like modern technology. That one, like we've been able to do that forever, but to make it cost effective.
Absolutely.
Which I think that thing was still $2 billion? Or maybe it's more than $2 billion.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So I am now working for a satellite company.
Hey, so first off, before I wrote something down because I saw you say it, and I fucking what you said is 100% the reason that people leave fucking companies. You said you felt unappreciated and you didn't have any leadership.
Yeah.
Your leadership wasn't coaching you.
Yeah.
I'm a Bears fan. We're going through that currently.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've got a young quarterback. We go, oh, you ain't figuring it out? Well, figure it out. We got to win games. But no, what you said is that's like, walk me through what happened. Like, what? Because that is one of the biggest reasons. Like me as in leadership, the reason I left T-Mobile was because the leadership above me was I was getting nothing. It was bad. It was bad, and that is one of the biggest reasons. So what happened in that whole debacle, if you will?
Oh yeah. So I had a surgery. I had two surgeries. I had one, and these were surgeries which it's appropriate. Like, this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I'm a BRCA mutation carrier, so I have the cancer gene, and we got it from my
Somebody
mom.
else said it, but I'm trying to write that. So what? I've heard that before. What is it?
It's BRCA, and there's BRCA1 and there's BRCA2, and it's a hereditary gene that you get that puts you at a much higher predisposition for cancer.
So you did this before.
I got
anything
tested.
Anything was found?
I got nothing was found, but it was when my mom was diagnosed with ovarian because my grandma had lost a sister to cancer, and then my grandma had breast cancer in the 70s. And so we knew, and it was like cousins and aunts, all these people had breast cancer. So we knew it was in the family. It was, and
all of it was tracked to that genetic component?
I would be willing to bet. I don't know for certain about how it extends past my mom because I only saw the genetic, like the when you look at the mutation, it's my mom, my sister, and I. It's exactly the same.
So when she got diagnosed, they found that, and then immediately you went and got tested to see if you had that, or that's okay. And did your sister do that?
Yep.
Or did your sister? Was she already?
She knew she carried the mutation,
but she hadn't been diagnosed yet.
Nope. So she was actually she actually found out that she had the BRCA mutation, I think a year before me.
Okay.
And then I got tested later on. I might have even been 2. I got tested later on, and it wasn't a shock when they were like, oh, you have it. And I was like, yeah, it's not a big deal. Like, I figured,
you kind of knew it was coming.
I fucking figured, that I would have it. But, so I had a hysterectomy right after I found out.
Oh shit, I didn't know you had that too.
Yep, I had that. So I was 35 or about 35 when I found out that I was BRCA positive, and that is sort of the age that like shit really start to pop off when it comes to messing with your risk. And I was talking with the doctor, the geneticist that did my test, and she's like, well, what do you want to do? And I was like, well, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to have kids. So like, because basically they were like, if you don't do anything, if you don't get a mastectomy and if you don't get a hysterectomy, which your breasts and your ovaries are estrogen producing, right?
So mastectomy is the breast, hysterectomy is the ovaries?
Is the ovaries, it's your uterus, it's all of that. And I was like, well, I don't think I'm going to have kids. And so let's just do that. Like, and that's because I knew that surgery was way less invasive. Like the mastectomy is very invasive. the hysterectomies are done with like a fucking robot that goes in through your belly button and then like pulls out your uterus like a goddamn rabbit out of a hat.
What? For
Yeah,
real?
yeah. It's like
It doesn't come out the bottom, comes out the belly?
Yeah, you get, well, it depends on the doctor. Like I think
Or they
sometimes
cut
they can
open
take
and maybe
it
go in.
through. Nope, they don't cut you open. They'll go in through, like, they'll do little incisions and then they'll usually use your belly button and they'll go in and they'll.
I didn't know that thing was still like an activated hole.
Oh, I have such a story for you about my motherfucking belly button
Well,
that I'm
first
going to
off,
tell you.
I want you to know the beginning of the show is going to start with my motherfucking belly button. 'Cause you just said it kind of hood. Like they put you through some shit. My motherfucking belly button, not yours. You switched a little bit.
My
Went all
friend,
Adams on me.
you do not know the depths of my belly button trauma. I got some belly button shit I've been working through.
Well, they just pulled some of you out of it, so I could imagine so.
This was back in 2017. This was
counted on my fingers.
Yeah,
by the way,
this was years ago. This was however 6 years ago. And so I got my little hysterectomy and I was going to wait on the mastectomy. I was like, it's like a big surgery and I'm just going to wait, and once I did that, the hysterectomy, it dropped my increase, like my risk by 30% or something like that. So it was significant.
Yeah.
And I was like, I got some time, I'll coast on this. And then Courtney got breast cancer. And by that time we'd already, like I'd had a hysterectomy and it was like maybe a year later we lost my mom. And then Courtney gets breast cancer and my doctors were like, yeah, so like now, like you really need to because they had found something that when they were doing, because I had to get scanned like extensively. So I started getting mammograms at 30.
How often did you have to do it?
It was every 6 months was before the surgeries. I had to get a mammogram and then a CT scan. And then I had to do exams at home. And they had found something and they had to do a biopsy and they're like, we think it's just like a rogue lymph node. Like it's not a big deal, but with your history, like we have to do everything like very thorough. So it was just time. And I had the way that they do these surgeries now with mastectomies is there's a new technique that they do where if you've got tig old bitties, what they'll do is they will actually give you a reduction and a lift first, and then you heal from that surgery before they go do your mastectomy. Because what was happening is women would go and they would just get a mastectomy and they would do the reconstruction at the same time. And then they'd have to go through another huge plastic surgery because everything looked bad. It wasn't a great outcome for the patient.
Yeah.
So this couple in San Francisco developed this technique and they figured out if you do this one surgery, which is an outpatient surgery, the happiness that like, it's like the rates of happiness of women who undergo reconstruction, like they skyrocketed. So that's what they did with me. So I went up
walk
to...
me through, because I'm ignorant as hell when it comes to so you said, I don't even know what is, I don't even know what exact reconstruction means. So when they say like, when they take it out, is that like, the meat of the titty?
They basically,
try to break it down simple for me, I guess.
So they, what they do is they open up like under the boobie and they do an incision and then they open you up and they take out all of your breast tissue, but they leave the skin like Buffalo Bill style,
Oh Lord.
Right. Mm-hmm. And so there's two options when you undergo reconstruction. You can actually, I guess there's three. You could either do something called like you go flat where like you just don't.
Just the skin's there?
Yep. So yeah, the cancer grows in your breast tissue, right? Because it's all.
And is that? Can we say? Is that the meat? Is that what I mean?
That's the boob meat, which is fat.
Okay, so we can call it fat. Instead of just
fat.
saying titty meat.
And because they don't remove your muscle when they do this, they take out all of your breast tissue, which is essentially fat, and you can either choose to stay flat, which a lot of women do, like because it's more comfortable.
Yeah, well, I guess why? So you could just say, hey, you know what? I'm tired of these titties. Like, if you get a certain age and you can just live the rest of your life without them.
Absolutely. You can just be like, take them off. I don't want to deal with this shit anymore. So then you don't,
I hated having titties. They bounced everywhere. Everybody kept flipping them.
They're heavy.
Or pinching them.
They're heavy. They're awkward. So you can just ixnay on the titties. Or you can get implants, which that can be painful because a lot of the times what they'll do is they'll put in something called expanders underneath your muscle to expand out your chest wall to make room for the implants. Or the third option, which is what I did, is something called a flap reconstruction, where
I didn't mean to smirk.
Dude,
That's a
no,
flap rig. I didn't think that like in my I'd be learning about flap.
You're learning all
reconstruction.
about it today. So the last is it's called a deep flap reconstruction, which
Why you
is
gotta add a word in front
where
of it this time.
they take your belly and they cut off your belly fat.
Oh, snaps.
They give you a tummy tuck and
okay.
they move the meats up top like the Jeffersons. They're moving on up.
Like a transfer.
That's exactly.
Oh
so
yeah.
what you're,
Why not? Yeah,
what
you
you're
get thinner
seeing
downstairs and get
right
thicker
now
upstairs?
is this is my belly.
Wow, that seems like the best option, right?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing because
Wow.
you get a tummy tuck.
Yeah.
And it's all covered by insurance.
And you're recycling.
You're recycling. And oh my God, your chance of rejection, like you're not going to reject your own tissue.
Yeah.
You don't get poisoned by your own tissue, which happens with implants.
Yeah, I was about to say that's what the thing, yeah.
You don't get a lot of the like there's a lot of like cosmetic things that are different too. Like these feel normal. They're not like, I don't know if you ever touched fake titties, but they can be kind of cold. They can be kind of firm. These don't.
It's not titty.
These don't look like that. They don't feel like that. But it's crazy because I can't feel most of anything on these anymore because it's like my nerve endings are regrowing and I may get some sensation back, but it was a 13-hour surgery.
Yeah, I saw that.
So
yeah, that's nuts.
the first one they did my little reduction, they did my lift, and that sort of leads me to the SeatGeek thing. So we got very sidetracked, but the SeatGeek thing. So I went out, I had my surgery at the end of last year, my first one, and then I came back February 1st. And I was working on a project that kind of went sideways, and it was one of those projects that the goalpost kept moving, and I had, these. It was a hard project, and I was working with like a difficult set of circumstances with the teams that I was helping to launch this tool, and it didn't go well. And when I came back, I had a talk, and I just never felt like my manager like wanted to help me get better. Like this job, I felt so incompetent, and I had never felt like that in my career. I'd always been very confident in my ability to understand and to problem solve. And this job, I just felt so dumb. I had this leader, not even a leader. I had a boss. And he was a perfectly fine human, and I liked talking to him when it wasn't about work.
Mm-hmm.
But when it came to work, it was like, I would say, like, what's on your mind? What's on your plate? What's the business saying? Like, and he's like, you just do this project. I'm like, all right. And then,
did you going into know how to do it?
Some of it.
Okay, so like, his expectation was, hey, you can handle this.
Yeah, you just do this, and up to a point, like, yeah, that was appropriate, and that's what I did. But it always seemed like he would come in at the 11th hour after not being engaged in anything I've been working on for months, and be like, oh, so I heard that this meeting, was not great, and I'm like, where the fuck you been? Like,
what?
It was so disconnected, and it was like, I just don't feel like there's nowhere for me to go. Like, they're like, you this is the next level. You'll be a senior manager. And I'm like, okay. And it's like, and you have to achieve these steps to do that. And, it was like, I came back from this surgery, and I was, I had time off. I was ready to go. And I was like, yeah, let's get back in here. And the first 2 weeks I'm back, I get a performance review that was covering the time that I was there for the last quarter before my surgery.
I got you. Yeah.
And, or 2 quarters, because it was like for the half year. And it was not a good review. And it was, you're failing to meet no, you're not failing to meet expectations. You're delivering inconsistently on expectations of your job. And I'm like, all right. And so I took it and I was like, I get it. Like the project didn't go well. I'm here. I'm excited. I'm ready to get back to it. Like I had it was also, I was launching this project while I was being diagnosed for ADD. So I was on a medication that was not the right fit for me. I was preparing for this first surgery. I was scared and I was expected to launch this project. And it was just all of these things were not great. And so I kind of explained a little bit of that. And I said, I would love resources from you on what would you do if you were in my situation to help improve? Like courses you've taken, books you've read, people you follow on social media. So I'm like, anything, right? Like anything. I would love something from you. And he's like, okay. I was like, and I'm excited. Like I'm ready. I have ideas. I took care of a medical problem, which i.e. getting on the right medicine.
Yeah.
Like I'm ready to go.
No, I don't mean to interrupt, but so when he gave you the performance review, he said, hey, you were delivering inconsistent results. Was there a development plan of here's what?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
I assume that, yep.
Not no.
He's like, get better.
Like, yeah.
So you're like, please help. And this is what you reach out. Hey, what would you?
Yes. And there were some examples of like, things where I didn't quite meet the mark and they were related to that project. And I had I'm a pretty easy person to work with. I really am. But I had a really difficult time working with a couple of people that I think they were just hard. They were just hard personalities. And that had kind of come through in a couple of meetings where I just couldn't hide the expression on my face. And so that was sort of like, you got to get along with everybody. And I was like, yeah, okay. And then 2 months go by. And it's 2 months where I meet with this boss every week for a one-on-one, but it's always like, so what are you working on? And it was always me telling him what was up and whatever. And 2 months go by, no help, no resources, no recommendations.
So you would ask him for this information.
Yes.
And he never provided.
Nothing. And I had stepped up my game. I had really worked on like stakeholder management and communication. And I really got good at, being more technical in my project management and I up-leveled in all these ways and I worked really, really hard. And then I have a meeting with him, just a regular one-on-one. And, I had come back from Joshua Tree and I was out there with my girlfriends and, we did our first one-on-one and he's like, how was it? And I was like, it was great. It's probably the only vacation I'm going to be able to take before the big surgery. And he was like, oh, I'm good. I'm glad you had a good time. So I want to share something with you. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm thinking, did the resources finally arrive? No, it was a dev plan. It was a development plan. And I'm like, what? And he goes, I just want to say, like, I've noticed there's been a great improvement. Like, themes seem to be more organized, but, you're still just not meeting the expectations that we have of this role. And I'm like, did I miss something? Like my stakeholders were the happiest they'd ever been. The project was on the mark. Everything, like my direct hire was supported. She didn't have too much on her plate. I was managing a whole group of contractors. I'm sitting there and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And it's like, we need to see improvement in the following ways. And 3 of the 4 things that they gave me were not quantifiable goals. They were vague, like
behavioral goals.
You're failing to present a vision to your stakeholders. So vague. And I'm like, what? Okay. So I'm like, all right. And at the bottom of the letter, it said, if we don't see improvement on these areas leading up to and after your next leave of absence, your position will be evaluated. And I was like, holy shit. And my poverty scared brain kicked in. And I was like, oh my God, you're going to lose your job before you get this surgery.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Oh, damn.
You're going to lose your fucking job. And I went into panic mode. So what I did was I hired a professional coach. It's actually my former sister-in-law, who is a brilliant product manager at Google. And she's undergone coaching classes and she's taken them and she's now teaching them. And
Oh, is this the one that ayahuasca?
no,
Different person.
no, this is a different person.
Oh, 'cause
but
you're like
but my
describing like a
girlfriend
coach,
Steph,
a leader,
I have a
yeah.
lot of girlfriends that are coaches.
Yeah.
This was my Steph was actually my boss. That's how we met, and she's the one that I would want to take me on the ayahuasca trip. This
Well, I'm
person,
going too, so
yeah, come
I'm gonna
aboard.
buy a ticket or not. But
So yeah, we'll get you a discount rate,
bingo.
2 for 1. So I hired a professional coach to work on things that were in that review. I mean I leaned in hard. I signed up for classes to better learn like master level agile project management within Jira. So like I'm trying to up level my Salesforce skills, and I worked so hard. And every week I met with my boss and it never came up. And I was the one. And like, in that letter, it was like, I'll do everything in my power to help you. He didn't do anything. He did nothing. And I was the one putting time on his calendar to pick his brain, to figure out how I could better serve the business. And 2 days before I went out for this major, major surgery, he's like, we should talk about your dev review. Like, let's talk about your dev plan and how you've made progress on that. I'm like, all right. And I'm like, I've killed it. Like, this is like the best it's ever been. And I meet with him, and he, like, cause what he'd done, he's like, I want you to self-rate the areas of improvement and like where you think you are based on where you were when we had our first conversation. I'm like, all right. He's like, and I'll do the same, and then we'll compare them. It was horrible. And
What do you mean? Not your ratings, his ratings?
the experience as a whole
The whole
was
thing.
just
I gotcha.
bad. And I also learned that it is difficult for people with ADD to receive criticism.
Oh, yeah.
There's actually like a term for it. It's called rejection sensitive dysphoria. And it explains why at this job, I cried all the time. I was stressed out because this place was one of those businesses that was like 24/7 feedback all the time. And if you didn't do something right, or if you didn't do what was expected of you, oh, it was getting talked about. And while I appreciate it, the way that it was sort of dumped, it was just not great.
Right.
You were given, and they tried to change it up to make it more like, not as crazy, because there were so many people that were complaining about like, you've been rated a 2 out of 6, but 6 is basically unattainable. Like, you get a rating of 6 if you've changed the way that the business operate. Like, it just left a bad taste in my mouth. And yeah, I'd had
Seems like a terrible business model. Terrible business model.
I'd had, reviews that were not awesome in my career. I had had conflicts with boss or coworker, general shit that you get in the workplace, right? But I'd never felt the way that I felt at this job. And so when we did the last conversation before I left, he's like, you've made incredible progress, but you're still not where you need to be. And so when you get back, if we don't see significant improvement immediately, your position's being evaluated. Mind you, this 2 weeks before this conversation happened, SeatGeek, they threw a huge party in New York City for our partnership their partnership with MLB. It was a multi-million-dollar party.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was on a Friday, Thursday, Friday. That Monday, they laid people off. And I came into work.
Spent $4 million for a party and then laid people off.
And then they laid people off. And I found out I was real time with my closest friend at work while she was figuring out that she had lost her job.
Oh, shit.
And it was very upsetting. And she thought that she was having a technical glitch and that's why she couldn't access things. And it was rough. Um, and I had been through layoffs. I was working in tech during 2008 when the economy crashed, and I survived 10 rounds of layoffs. And so it was like I was coming in and I was watching my friends get let go week by week by week. And so I felt like a seasoned veteran, and I was like, all right. And I was working really closely with a lot of departments that I worked with where these people had never been through something like this. And so it became like, I know it's really stressful, and like you need to understand, like, yeah, things are out of your hands and it's really scary and whatever. And I feel like I'd done a really good job at sort of helping people navigate that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I get this conversation of like, you're just not doing enough. And I got off that call and I made a out loud promise to myself that I would never have a conversation like that again with this person. And I vowed that I was going to get a new job. And so 4 days later, I went and had a big ass surgery. And I woke up from a 13-hour surgery, and
13
I had
hours.
7 drains coming out of my body. I had a wound vac that spanned my entire abdomen. And I had to be in post-op for hours because I was so medicated that like my breathing was scary. Like
It's a 13-hour
it was a 13-hour surgery. I was under for 13
God, they're
hours.
just cutting your body open and moving shit for 13
They
hours?
fucked me up.
Well, yeah. I mean, they moved everything from somewhere to somewhere else.
Oh, and I had, it looked like a kitten had scratched up my chest. So something must have been like rubbing and I had like scrapes from like them jerking me around. And oh, it was, yeah. And the whole time I was panicked that I was going to lose my job. And when you're single, like living on your own,
Mm-hmm.
it's not, you don't have shared income. You're the only one pulling the weight. And I'm sitting there, and that is a core fear is living in poverty,
Mm-hmm.
because it was so hard when we were growing up. And my recovery was awful because of that.
Because your mental is
I was
such
terrified. I couldn't relax.
Yeah, because like, I feel like that does make sense. If your mental's not right, like your body's immune system is going to try to heal what's hurting worse. And if you
Yes.
make it your brain, I feel like your body was not.
Yep.
You probably weren't sleeping enough to.
Nope. I was not sleeping.
You weren't allowed to do heroin in there.
Couldn't do heroin. I couldn't snort lines of
ago.
heroin.
You snort heroin?
Yeah.
Can you?
You can, but Pulp Fiction.
I feel like
that's what happens when you snort heroin.
There it was. You need that.
You got to cook it down.
Jabby thing. What's that?
A nettle?
I called it jabby.
Oh, the EpiPen in your heart. Yeah, the epinephrine to start your heart. Yeah, it was horrible recovering when I was under the constant stress of losing my job. So, funny enough, I had started interviewing I don't know. I like to take calls with companies just to see what's happening.
It's called keeping your options open.
Yeah.
And when your current company asks, hey, I'm always keeping my options open.
Absolutely. So I'll take a call. I took calls with Zillow, with Airbnb, with Zoom. No, wasn't Zoom. It was Vimeo. Yeah, I got really far in their process, actually. I was like almost at offer with them. And I had actually gotten to a final round. I was one of 2 candidates for an AI startup called Jasper. And I really wanted that job, and it broke my heart.
Have I heard about that?
Because
Is it becoming?
Oh, it's huge. Jasper's huge. It's AI writing, and that's how they got big. Is they write content with an AI bot.
That's how all these college kids. You hear that? That's the new thing. I didn't mean to.
Yeah.
I don't want to skew us off because my brain's are taking me something.
Yeah.
So
I interviewed. Yeah. I like to talk. I like to see what's happening at other companies. Mm-hmm. What do you have to offer? And I did that when I was with SeatGeek. I talked to companies all the time, but I could never quite. I was like, I don't know about that. Like that sounds like a lot more work, and it's a lot more money, but it's a lot more work.
Right.
And then that's when the tech market started to take a dive. and it's still not. I mean, it's still bad. It's not great. Like they've started to rebound.
What do you think
Oh,
drove the?
I mean, I think people overhired during the pandemic, and companies ballooned because, like, especially certain tech companies, because products became more in demand. Video chat and it's just the way the business sort of went.
I got you. So that's part of your industry is like the Zoom and the online video chatting, because I did drop a lot.
Yeah,
After.
it was. It
'Cause
just
a lot of companies are trying to bring back, getting rid of remote and bring back.
Oh, yeah. So that's actually part of what my gig is now. Is like I'm technically hybrid. Technically hybrid.
But you should be. Like, you don't need to. You need to go into that place, let them see you, build that team.
Yeah, this is a hybrid
There's some
role.
good perks. I feel like with your personality, you should be hybrid for sure.
That's what I was remote for almost 10 years, and I was remote with SeatGeek too, and it was great. But when you live alone, and then you add on top of that, you live alone in a very small town, like, where I live in Michigan.
They filmed Prancer there, so
thank you.
Don't be an ass.
Like,
that's a very important town for us.
Yeah.
Every time I say, my dad says hi.
Talk to him. Bruce.
Guess what he said right after?
What?
Well, yeah, they filmed Prancer there.
Yeah, they did.
The Three Oaks, right?
Yep, it's the Three Oaks. They play it every year.
Is there still a sign?
Oh yeah.
You can come to that. That's as famous as we are in this area. When you said that, I go right when you said, I don't know how. I was like, because I missed like a whole year of your life. Because I didn't follow you as a business customer.
Right.
Same with Katie. I was like, I don't dislike you. She said the same. She goes, you stopped liking my post. I go, everybody did. I went KQ Business. You got to go follow everybody. I was like,
yeah.
And then I undid it.
Yeah.
I lost a lot of the people again.
Yeah.
I gave up.
So yeah, it was I made the promise, and then I started interviewing when I was off work, and it was kind of crazy. I was talking to this what was it? Cybersecurity insurance company?
Cybersecurity insurance.
Yes. So they basically come up with ways to help mitigate the risk of like a cyber attack at companies. So I interviewed with this company, and it was a week after I got out of the hospital.
Give me a sec.
Okay.
Yeah, move that table a little closer to you. Sorry.
Like that?
You did the complete opposite.
Oh, like this one.
And then I thought you were just talking with me. I go, that's not.
Is that better?
Yeah, you go. I go. Turn it this way. You go, this way. I was like, God damn it, Autumn. That's why I can't have kids. No, you get.
Don't
get in this house, or I'll slap your sister. How about that?
Don't.
just don't. Oh shit. All right.
Yeah, I was interviewing, and I had all these drains, and they were like, 2 people didn't show up. Like, I got stood up on these Zoom calls, these Zoom interviews.
What do you mean drains?
Drains for my.
Okay, so I thought, yeah.
So
you're at home with like bags of things leaking. Like, sucking that I had to different things out.
Yes, I had the wound vac. I had to wear this like belt that were to organize all the drains. I had to clean them. I had to dump them. And it was like a slow thing. Like, they would take out one week, and they would take out one the next week.
Good
and
Lord.
So it was crazy pants. And I interviewed with that company, and it was 7 hours of my life I'll never get back. 7 hours. It was hour-long interviews with people. And
you're going, and below, like, neck down, you're going, everything is leaking, and I have to change these bags.
And I'm on
this up?
And I'm on medication.
Can you? Yeah, and you're also on.
I'm on pain meds.
You thought it was an hour interview, but they were just asking you questions. You were just staring.
Yeah. I'm like, hello? I'm pretty sure I nailed it.
Did your internet go out? Oh no. I can see the fan
they
moving in the back.
stood me up. No, they were there the whole time.
She's not moving. Okay, ma'am. Hello. There's a bag leaking.
Yeah, it was.
You just find out you didn't.
I'm in a moo-moo.
You go, no, you shut up for the interview. You just had your butt crack to us as you drained several.
I have to Yamo be there one more time. It was so bad. It was such a long process. And so it didn't work out. which, I look at that and I wasn't particularly jazzed about, I was jazzed about the comp. It was good. It was a really good comp package, but who's jazzed about insurance? Not me. So I'm
Well, I
like,
mean, you should be based on
yeah,
what
that's true.
the bill you'd probably get without it.
Oh,
but
it's that. I guess that's true. My literal $1 million
I was
body.
about to say, yeah.
It's about $1 million, but I reached out to a buddy and I had noticed that his company had a position open like a couple months before I had the surgery, and I was like, well, let's see. I'll see if they're gonna fill it. They're gonna fill it, And then during my recovery, I was like, oh yeah, I wonder if they ever filled that job at John's company. So I look and it's still open, and so I hit him up and I'm like, what's up? Like, why haven't they filled this? And is it because they want somebody to come in the office in McLean, Virginia, which is a suburb of DC? And he's like,
Great area.
he's like, yeah, he's like, it's that they've had a hard time filling this role because like they want somebody 3 times a week in the DC office. I'm like, all right, what are the odds that we can get him to make it remote? And he was like, I can see what I can do. He's like, I'm friends with the hiring manager, who's a really great dude, and I think you'd get along with him really well. He's like, and I'll tell you what, I'm at headquarters next week, so I'll talk to his boss, who is the VP of yield and sales ops, and let me see what I can get, intel. So he's like, yep. He's like, I had a great conversation. Brendan's on vacation, but he's back on Tuesday, and I'll shoot him an email, and you can have an informal conversation. You can get a feel. So I'm like, cool, sounds good. And I'd always kind of had them back in my head, like they might not be able to make this job remote. And so John's like, by the way, if there are any hurdles, there's a Chicago office. Like we don't, it was part of an acquisition, but people, they're trying to drive more people to work there. So maybe that's something you can talk about too. I'm like, cool. So I end up taking a call with the guy gets back from vacation. I'm thinking he's getting back from vacation. It's going to be a couple days. He's got to get through the emails. No. That man, it was like he had been at work for like 4 hours and had hit me up. Like John sent the email. This guy wrote back and was like, you want to talk tomorrow? So I talked to him and I'm like, God, this guy is rad. Like this guy is what's up. And he just was fantastic. And the thing that really sold me was I knew that this job, likely the range that they wanted to pay was a lot lower than I was making. But I couldn't find anything online for how much it paid. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, so we get to the very end of the call and I said to him, we have to talk about something really uncomfortable right now, Brendan. And he's like, oh no, what? And I go, we got to talk about money. And he's like, all right, what do you want? And I was like, well, what's the range? And he's like, no, what do you want? What do you need to get here? And I was like, well, I don't want to take a cut. I said, but if you can give me a little bump with a bonus, like we're in business. He's like, okay. So I give him the number and he's like, and I was like, I know it's higher. And he was like, I don't give a shit. It's not my money. I'll fucking go ask him. All they could say is no. And I was like, yes, fucking yes. So I hear back from the recruiter and it goes so fast. So fast. And he's like, I'm really sorry. Like, I think we're gonna be able to make the comp work because we talked to the analyst and like based on your experience, I think we can make it work. He's like, but you have to do one more interview. And I was like, what? And I was like, well, wait, we only had like an informal conversation. Like I would assume I'd have to meet with a few people. And he's like, I'm sorry. Once again, I'm sorry. You have to do one more and it'll be me and like 2 other people at the same time. And I'm like, I don't have to do separate 1-hour calls. He's like, no. And I had the call and I was so used to how much work I was doing at SeatGeek. And I was like, okay, I was like, all right, so you're a developer and who's managing your projects? Who's building out the Jira boards? How do you manage like road mapping? Who does all of your stakeholder? And they were just like, what? Like I don't
like, you pay her more? Yeah. Double it. We don't know what she's asking, so she must be good.
Yeah,
You're
it was
that
just
far
like,
ahead.
oh, we kind of do that, but they're an older company. And their systems are older. And as we're SeatGeek is like top of the line, like you're getting a $2,000 MacBook Pro and you're doing all the shortcuts and we're all wizards. And it's hungry 24 and 25-year-olds graduating from fucking NYU. And that's the business, right? And I respect it. But I am a 40-year-old fucking woman who has been around a long time in this tech world. And for me, I'm like, I think I want to go work for this like old company. They were the company that they did the moon landing. Their satellites broadcasted the moon landing back to Earth.
The moon's not real and the Earth is flat.
Well,
we're not going to do this anymore.
That's fair.
So hold on. So they've been around since then?
The 60s. So they were actually started by JFK.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
They were a government company and then they went private. They split into almost like two companies where they were privatized but they kept the government contracts. So that's the way the business still operates today.
Wow.
There's a telecommunications portion. There's the, so like their satellites are what feed the Discovery Channel to your plane, like when you're on the plane. And their satellites bring cell service and internet to remote parts of the world all over the place. It's really amazing. But they've been around since the 60s.
Damn.
So
they've been private the entire. So they're still private.
They're still private. Yep.
That's. I mean, that kind of goes back to our Fortune 500 company versus small company.
Yep.
You can take some of the stuff you learn and be like, hey, wow, this isn't being implemented, but you can do it.
Yes.
The right way.
So they're private, and the company is actually now headquartered in Luxembourg. And
just outside
and then they have a
Dallas.
U.S. LLC, which is in
Luxembourg?
D.C.
Kentucky?
Yeah, Luxembourg, Kentucky. I believe it's due south of Louisville.
You did it right. My buddy Keenan lived in Louisville.
Louisville.
L-U-L.
Louisville.
Louisville.
Mm-hmm.
And because I was like, damn, and they all say y'all.
Yeah.
When any blonde girl says y'all to me, I lose everything. I'm like,
Yeah.
do you want my wallet? Hey, where y'all from? Oh,
Ah,
I don't know what it is.
Here you
that
go.
or Australian. Either one of those. Like,
No.
No. When they say no, no. Where's the U and the R from? No.
No. Yeah. So I ended up like I got all the way to the end and I was getting, the intel that they were working on an offer. And I get an email. I'm laying in bed. It's like 9 a.m. I'm still on leave. I get an email. I'm laying in bed and I'm like, it says, unfortunately, we were not able to get an exception for this role. And we would like to offer you a relocation package to McLean, Virginia. And it said nothing about Chicago. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening? So I read the email and I'm like, I'm heartbroken. I'm like, what? I'm not moving to Virginia.
You think Oprah would have called you before they would have said that?
Oh my God. It was so bizarre. And so I go and I write back to the recruiter and I say like, is there no Chicago option? And at the same minute, I get an email in my inbox. Like I hit send and it's like, bing. And I get an email that's like, oh, and by the way, Chicago is also an option. And I'm like,
did you not?
Do you want to lead with that?
You know what a map looks like?
You want to lead with that? So
we filmed Prancer here, goddamn.
Tastes like fruit punch.
It tastes like candy.
It reminds me of Friday after next.
Yeah.
I got something for you that's better than money. Candy cane's mine. I love Pinky.
First, whenever I hear candy cane. You remember Joyride?
Candy cane.
Joyride, dude. His voice, candy cane.
Yeah.
And it was weird. It was the detective from Fast and Furious 2. Because I heard his voice because Brian Spillner, when he's talking to him, it's that guy. I had to Google it. It's the guy, when he walks, he goes, when Tyrese eats his sandwich.
Yeah.
Hey, that's my sandwich. That's his voice.
Oh, that was Candy Cane?
Yeah, because I've seen Fast and Furious 2
Yeah.
so many more times than any human should ever. I think me and Pat probably hold the record. We just quote Fast and Furious 2. Not fucking Tokyo Drift, okay? That doesn't count.
Fuck that.
It was technically Fast and Furious 2.
Yeah.
Too fast and too furious.
Yeah, long story short, to just put a bow on it, it ended up being like one of those things where they're like, we can offer you a relocation package to Chicago. And I'm like, what? But like, I'm an hour and 10 away. And they're like, yeah, but you're over, like you're over the 50-mile radius. And I was like, so, but my whole team is in Virginia. So I would be going to the Chicago office to be on Zoom.
To contact your people in Virginia.
Yeah. So I'm up. Hit 'em up style.
Hit 'em up style.
Hit 'em up style.
Who's that?
Ladies.
Yes.
If your man wanna get buck wild.
Who was that? Hit 'em up style.
Just go back and hit 'em up style. She's just talking about taking his credit card.
Yeah, and then in the video, she's just stealing all the shit.
Shopping. Yeah, just shopping her fucking... I think she might have been like kind of a one-hit wonder.
I think so. Because I remember... Oops, I
hey,
remember...
ladies. Blue?
Yes, Blue Cantrell. There it was. Or that might be a porn star.
Our ADD powers combined, we are Captain Planet.
What were you guys talking about? We're talking about her career change, and then we took a turn to... You went to TRL.
Go!
See, first, that's why I need video, just because the dance moves you're doing right now are on par.
Oh, man. Yeah.
So you agree you're gonna get to just kind of marinate, like you took the gig?
I took took the gig.
Nice.
I went back to after my leave. I went back to SeatGeek, and I was there for 3 days, and I put my notice in, and it was no surprise. I approached it from that standpoint too. I was just like, I hope that like based on the last conversation we had, this is not a shocker. But I gotta go. And I don't burn bridges when I leave, because you never know. You never know.
Oh yeah, totally.
So I made awesome documentation, and I helped out where I could, and then I started the following Monday at Intelsat, and it's been great, dude. I've always had really incredible managers that I've stayed very good friends with. Mm-hmm. Two of my closest friends were my bosses at one point. And I will follow a good leader into the mists of Avalon. I will fucking full ride majestic steed, into the mists with a motherfucker if they inspire me.
Yes.
I need, as a worker, I know I need validation that I'm on the right path. I need that from a leader. And I just never got it. Mm-hmm. I never got it there. And I would ask for it. And I'd just be like, dude, like, I need a little more positive reinforcement from you. Or like direction that I'm on the right path. Or like, and that was not the place. That was not the relationship that I was ever going to get that. And it beat my confidence into the ground. And I'm like, maybe I'm not as smart as I thought I was. Maybe I'm not as capable as I thought that I was, because I can't keep up here. And I'm never going to be good enough. And it doesn't matter if I'm working 12-hour days or if I hire a coach, I'm never going to be good enough. And Courtney used to say that it was like an abusive relationship where, like, because the wins were so shiny and they were so fun and the company was fun and they were, it was cool to watch them try to, take on Ticketmaster, because fuck Ticketmaster. They're the worst.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I was proud to work there, but I was so unfulfilled. And so when I started working, at this new gig, the first week I was like, this is awesome. Like, these people are really cool. There's a lot of work. It's really busy, but it's the kind of work I like to do. And, I was so traumatized from that job that, when I came on board, I'm like 2 weeks in, right? And I'm doing all sorts of stuff. And I'm asking my manager, I'm like, so how do you keep track of like what your people are working on? And he's like, well, I mean, we talk a lot, we talk a lot at this company. And it's weird because I never spoke to my boss outside of that half-hour period once a week. We didn't really talk very often. This guy, no, like my boss will just be like, hey, you got 5 minutes for a vent? And I'm like, yep. And like, we'll get on. He'll be like, it's wild. Like, it's crazy, you know? And he's also kind of all over the place, and he matches my energy, and like, we crack each other up. And, you know, my second week, we're in this meeting and we're talking about all these ideas. And I'm like, I built this Jira board and I have all these epics built out, and this is what I'm going to focus on for my first 30 days. And he just is like, I love it. I love it. Like, and he's like, can I just say how amazing it is to have you? It is amazing to have you here. He's like, you were worth the 9 months that we could not find somebody to fill this job.
Yeah.
And
awesome.
He's like, you're so fucking capable. And he said that phrase to me, and I was like, ugh.
I'm not crying.
And I got a little like verklempt. And I was like, oh. And he's like, I mean it. Like, it is so refreshing how competent you are. And it's clear that you know what the fuck you're doing. And I was like, man, I gotta be honest. Like, it's been a long time since I've heard something like that from a manager. Yeah. And he's like, what do you mean? And so when I interviewed with him, I was honest for the first time, I think ever, in an interview process about why I wanted to leave. And it wasn't some like, I'm not like, there's no room for growth or it's time for a new chapter. I wasn't vague. I was like, I really don't want to run Salesforce under an engineering umbrella anymore. And I don't feel like there's any way for me to get better here. And I don't feel like I have leadership that wants to help make that happen. And I don't want to do it anymore. And he was like, yeah, totally. Like, I get, yeah. Mm. And it was also awesome when we were negotiating my offer, because, that's something I would also love to fucking talk about one of these days, is like, empowering women to fucking negotiate, because women will, one out of 3 times, women will accept a first offer. Because it's taken me some years to step out of being, I'm really agreeable and I'm really easy to work with, and I love to engage people, but I am also not the type of woman that will downplay my achievements when you give me a compliment. That sometimes. So if somebody's like, "Oh my God, the work you did on that project was amazing." So many women that I know are conditioned to go, "Oh, it was nothing. It was really easy. Like, it was no big deal. It was no." I'll be like, thanks. I worked my ass off, but like, thank you for the compliment. That means so much. That is appalling to some women. Or when you're given a compliment about your outfit, your makeup, your whatever, and you say, thank you, instead of being like, oh, it's nothing. Oh no, please don't.
Why do you, that doesn't make, yeah, I don't understand why they would.
So in the business sense, I think that it has been built, traditionally white men, right, are at the top of the food chain in business. And it's getting better, and diversity is popping up, and you're seeing more people of color, you're seeing more women in positions, you're seeing more, you're seeing a variety of folks holding bigger, flashier titles these days. But that's not the way that it used to be. And I would say at places like SeatGeek, much more progressive. It's a younger generation. It's still not where it should be, but it's better. But when you have older companies, and these people have been there for 20 years, and they don't know that things have changed, right? And that comes back to contract negotiation and salary negotiation. And so I knew I was already expensive for them. And I knew, so when I was negotiating, it was like they come at you, and the first offer, I gotta say, I gave him props. I was like, not bad. Let's keep going. And my boss, I remember, what did he say to me? He was like, he goes, like, negotiate. He's like, do what you need to do, get where you need to be. And he goes, fuck, if you work here for a year and it's not for you, like, move along. Like, I've been here for 14 years because this place works for me. But like, if you hate it, you fucking go. And like, yeah, I am cool with it. Like, you do whatever. So that same energy carried into him as a manager when I started. And it was always just like, no, this is your own, you own this product. Take it. Like, take it. What do you want to do? What do you want? I'll support you. What do you want to do? And then I would give him an idea and he'd be like, cool. Can I give you one suggestion? I'm like, yes. He's like, this group may not be keen to that. Let's twist it just a little bit to get better user acceptance. And I just, to have somebody, and I've been there for, it's 6 weeks. I've been told so many times what a good job I'm doing, how impactful my work is. And it's not just by him. It was what I said in the video. It was, spending a couple hours after, relaxing a little bit. And I built something fun for my brain. And I was like, oh yeah, this is good UX. Like, oh, this is like a good color. And like, if you click this button, it's going to take you to this screen. This is what salespeople want to see when they're using their mobile app, because there's all this muddiness, right? And I cleaned it up and I made it slick. And I get to do that, which I'm good at.
Hell yeah.
And then I get to be technical too. And that's also been something that I've missed. And I wanted a job that could let me be zesty. It could let me sort of figure out what I wanted to do. And then I could go do dumb grunt work because I like to do that. And then I could build UX.
Like a Steve Jobs kind of.
Yeah. I just.
This is a great idea. Let me figure out how these guys are doing it. And then, add my input.
Yeah. I love it. And I've been doing that shit since we were kids. I mean, and I do feel like my curiosity when it came to computers and the internet, it saved me, I think, from some like rough, I didn't engage in a lot of that bullshit that like our peer, like I wasn't having sex young. I didn't drink that young. I didn't dabble in drugs. But I was online and I was trying to salvage the one computer we had by learning how to defrag and look up where Trojan horse viruses were, because we weren't going to get a new computer if that one broke. So I was the IT department at my house. And that translated so beautifully into the job that I have now, which, I am so grateful to have a new leader and to feel myself again and to feel appreciated and like validated. Like, yeah, we see how you're working and we love the impact. And this is, we're so lucky to have you. That's how you fucking keep people.
Hell yeah.
And that place, one of the things that I noticed about it when you got the LinkedIn Premium is it tells you what the average tenure is at every company that you look at.
Oh, that's cool.
And SeatGeek, typical tech company, just under 2 years. Startup-ish, I should say. Intelsat, where I work now, average tenure is over 5 years. People stay forever. So, yeah, I'm into it, man. I'm really happy, and to come off that surgery and that recovery was so hard. It was so hard, and then we got to talk about my belly button.
Yeah, what happened with that? Because
Oh, bud.
Did you lose it?
Oh, I lost it.
Is it in a jar?
It's gone.
Oh, it's gone?
It is gone. They dug it out.
What did they put instead? Oh, do you have like an Iron Man thing?
Yeah.
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 No, I just have a Texas belt buckle.
Jeff asked if they could put in a Bluetooth speaker. He's like, babe, listen.
He's like, Alexa, could you order us some more? And it comes out of your stomach, ordering more toilet paper.
He's like, I'll connect my Bluetooth to your button, right?
Babe.
And I'll just talk to you that way.
Bingo. Also, in case I'm not home, I can send you an orgasm through your belly button.
It's just a short travel down.
You're on Zoom. So I'm trying.
Yeah. It was, they didn't, I didn't see this coming.
You had a Zoom orgasm, didn't you?
I didn't see it coming. The belly button, it did me dirty.
So what do you mean? I don't understand what you're talking about.
So this surgery that I had, when they took my belly and they moved it up, they had to pull down my abdomen to close the wound, which meant moving the belly button a little bit. Now, the belly button.
What do you mean by
the belly button is it's called the umbilicus, and there's blood flow, and it's like you have, that's how you get your nutrients when you're in the womb, whatever. But you continue to have blood flow to your belly button, and it's whatever, it's your belly button. Well, when you get this surgery, they move things around, and they have to move your blood vessels, and they have to move because everything's moving.
Yeah.
And so they had to do some stuff with my belly button. And so I mean, it was wild. Like I that surgery was so invasive that I just never even thought about this. So they send me home, and like 2 weeks in, I'm like, oh, something smells weird. And I was changing so many dressings, and I had the drains and all of that.
Yeah, a lot.
And I'm like, what the
lot.
fuck is going on? I was like, what is that smell? And I was like, I wasn't allowed to shower, but I was taking like, like sponge, like, washcloths and, I didn't smell bad. And I'm like, it's not me. It's not me. What is this smell? And I go to change my dressing on my belly button, and I'm like, oh no, this something's wrong. Something's wrong. And thankfully I was going to weekly appointments at that time, and I had one the next day with my surgeon. And so I went in, and they're like, how are you doing? And I was like, well, like abdomen, like everything's good, but like something's going on with my belly button. Like, yeah, it's not great. And they're like, okay, let's take a look. So they take a look, and they're like, oh yeah. So, it's doing something where it's trying to, like cave back in. Like they had built me kind of a new belly button, and that's what they said. They're like, Dr. Shinek, who is my surgeon, my plastic surgeon, she built you a new belly button, and this happens when we do these types of surgeries. But she did try to build you a belly button, but sometimes that doesn't take. And I was like, oh, okay. And like, yeah, sometimes people like some surgeons don't even give you a belly button, but like we tried to do you solid, and like we gave you a belly button. I'm like, all right, like, but it looks like it's trying to like retract back in. Like it was caving in. Like I had the belly button, but it was like becoming it was like a hole.
Yeah, like you could you almost fist your own
Yeah, just fist your own B button.
I got you.
Fist your button.
A couple fingers deep on that.
It was not good. And so they're like, well, let's try to reinforce it. Like we're going to put some sutures in, and like, do you have any feeling? And I was like, no, I don't really have any feeling there still. So we're going to put some stitches in to reinforce it. And then we're going to have you pack it with this, like it's almost like a wound healing, like tape. It looks like a worm. And you have to pack it in these 2 holes in your belly button because it was so fucked up. And my boyfriend, God love him, was so amazing during my recovery. Just wanted to learn how to take care of like all my wounds, and like which ointment needed to go on which wound, and like which gauze we needed. And he's like, I got you. Like it's gonna be great. And so he's like, take a video when they show you how to pack it, and like we'll do it at home. I'm like, all right. And so the first time I have to change the dressing, they're like, let's do that. You're going to do it for a week. And then when you come back, we'll see how it heals. And so I couldn't see anything. So bless my boyfriend, he is in front of my disgusting belly button, and he's finding the tiny holes on either side of where they had made the sutures to stuff the gauze inside my belly button.
What is happening?
It was,
good Lord.
It was not good.
Seems like a lot you went through here.
And I was already, and what was the saddest about this is that at the same appointment that my belly button was getting looked at, my last drain was out. They took out my last drain, and the drains were the worst because they were literally coming just out of your body. And I had them for weeks, and the last one came out, and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And so they're like, you've got stitches, like we got to do one more little thing here. But like then my belly button starts to fall apart. So I was like on the fast track. I felt great. I was starting to bounce back. I was getting more active. And then this thing happens, and we do this for a week, and I'm changing the dressings, and I come back, and they're like, yeah, so this happens sometimes. It's necrosis of the belly button. And I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, so like here, and they explained it to me, like your umbilicus is kind of shaped like a mushroom, and the blood flow, like when we did the surgery, your blood flow wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great. So like sometimes this happens, and I'm like, what the fuck? And thankfully, so my surgeon was there that day. Usually I'm working with like an NP, and the surgeon was there that day, and she comes in and she's like, yeah, so like, can you come back tomorrow so we can like clean that up? She's like, I know you don't have a lot of feeling there, but like, it's going to be painful. And I really want to I want to clean this up and like get the unhealthy tissue out of there. And I want to knock you out. So it'll be kind of like when you get your wisdom teeth removed or like you get a colonoscopy. I'm like, okay, I really think about it a lot, right? Like I was like, it sucks, but like, yeah. And it wasn't registering to me that like I had to check into the hospital. I had to do all the I had 3 anesthesiologists come talk to me about the sedation, and I'm like, damn, and they have to put a pick in for the IV, and I'm talking to Jeff, and I was like, I didn't expect it to be all this, and he's like, what did you think was gonna happen? You were just gonna like drive up in the drive-through, and they were just gonna knock you out and just willy-nilly it.
Hit neutral, they push you around the front, and then once the car starts, you gotta go.
Yes. So they're like, okay, like here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna clean up your belly button, and you're probably gonna have to like pack it with some gauze. We'll see what we can do, and then we're gonna take a look at the rest of your incisions to like make sure you're cool. And they're like, because we have this one little area that like we just want to make sure is good.
Yeah.
I'm like, cool. So they knock me out, and I wake up, and it's like Friday. It's like Friday evening, so everybody wants to get home. And you're coming out of that sedation, and it's like, people are like, oh no, go home, have a great weekend. And I'm like, oh my God, it feels like my abdomen's on fire. What the fuck is going on? And I kind of like wake up, and my nurse practitioner who I'd been working with for months, she was like, so like there was more damage than we thought. So like you have a hole, and you're going to have to pack it with like gauze that's soaked in like this solution with bleach in it. And also, your sutures on your abdomen were ripping internally because there was fluid buildup. So you have another wound vac and another drain. And I was like,
why did it come back? Why did I come back?
And I also like, because when you have twilight surgery like that, you can't eat. So I had not eaten in like 20 hours. And now I find out that I have a drain in, and I have a wound vac, and I have a giant hole in the middle of my abdomen. And I'm like, what the so I get back to the pre-op or the post-op room, and I'm like, oh no. And the whole time, all I'm thinking about is like, I have all of these things, and I'm going to lose my job immediately. So it's like, oh, it's so amplified. And the nurse comes, and she goes, how are you? And I'm like, I'm not good.
I hate everything. Get me out of here.
What's going on? I was like, I'm in so much pain.
I want my old belly button back.
And I was like, I don't understand. And it's like, I like looked at her, and I was like, oh, God. And she hands me a pill. And I was like, what's that going to do? Because it takes like a half hour for a pill to kick in. And because I was like, I'm in a lot of pain. And
you cracked that bitch and haven't snorted
and
it?
she goes, oh, I'll get you. And I was like, you need something to IV, you need to give me something in IV. I was like, I have a really high pain tolerance, and this is not good. And she's like, okay. So she's like, it'll take me a minute. And she comes back, and she goes, did you bring somebody with you? And I was like, yeah. And she goes, do you want me to bring them back? And I'm like, I don't give a shit. Like,
where's the IV?
I'm like, you don't understand. Like, they just took all this shit out of me, and I have this hole in my belly button. And I'm really sorry, and I know it's not your fault, but like, I haven't eaten in a really long time. I'm really upset. And I just lost it. And that was the first time through all of these surgeries that I had been under.
Just out.
that was the first time I freaked out. And she comes by. Like she goes and I like she comes back, and she's like, okay, I got fentanyl. She's like, I'm gonna get you. And so she gave it to me, and I was like, oh yes, this is where we would
Give
like
me some of that to go.
This is where we would like to be.
This is my life.
She's like, how we doing? And she can see my blood pressure's coming down. I was like, good. And I was like, you can go get the person I came with. And so she's trying to give me crackers and all this stuff. Anyway, I get home. Because it's an outpatient. I go home, and I see how big the hole is in my belly button. And it was the size of one of those baby Coke cans. Those little, about that big around. A literal
But
hole.
doesn't it?
They're like, you have to heal it from the inside out.
It'll soak itself back in.
Nope. it was a hole. It was never, it was going to, the tissue, I just stopped packing my belly button 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, since the end of June.
What?
I had a hole in my belly. I had a hole in my abdomen twice a day.
A quarter of the year you were jamming shit into your belly button?
Jamming shit into my belly button. And my skin was so sensitive from all the tape. And like I had to soak gauze in either saline or this bleach solution. And at twice a day, I had to pull it out and I had to change it and I had to cover it. And I wore these surgical pads. It was horrible. It was horrible. It was so bad.
So, Demi, did all said and done?
It's healed.
Okay, so you're happy with your belly button.
It's healed.
Does it look like a regular belly button? It's not like
it's on its way. Like it literally just like we're starting to just now see a little bit of like the scar tissue. It just stopped with like the scabs.
Painless. Oh shit. Oh, so we're live now, but it's your anniversary.
Yes.
Anniversary.
So please introduce.
It's been 24 months.
24 months.
That's.
Beautiful.
I mean, in
I got my fella,
22.
my main squeeze.
How are you going to introduce
El Jefe is on the call. You want to say hi, babe?
El Jefe, that's the key. my name is Jeff.
My name's Jeff.
Some people call me Monty.
My name's Jeff.
And I've been dating Autumn for like 2 years. Mm-hmm. And I'm here with Kyle.
Yes,
in his podcast studio with some really nice equipment.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about ADHD today.
Yes, and well, we were going to go with
neurodivergent.
Anal,
I am
anal
a clinical
orgasms.
psychologist. I studied at Johns Hopkins University. I'm an expert.
Wow.
In no. I've listened to a lot of podcasts about ADHD, though. And I think that TikTok convinced me
Yes.
that I had ADHD. My aunt called me. This was about 4 years ago. She said, we got some bad news. I'm like, what is it? He's like, your cousin Alex has ADHD.
We got some bad news.
Like, what are you talking
never
about?
bad
It's like, right when the TikTok thing popped. And then the next thing you know, like a year later, he's getting a divorce.
Oh.
Yeah, for real. So I don't know.
Because they gave him medicine. He goes, ew, why am I with you?
Oh, no.
Something
I'm
happened.
just kidding.
Yeah, I don't know. But I thought it was so interesting. I didn't take it serious at all. When people, he's in his 40s, you know what I mean? He's on the career track and he's doing very well for himself. And it seems this ADDH thing like derailed him somehow. So, you know, maybe it's certainly true that other people have ADHD, but I think there's a portion of it that is
I think it's
environmental based or from like the phone or TikTok, I think.
Or with the wrong, like you said, the wrong, because like we both, I have been diagnosed since I was 20. I'm 40. For 20 years, I've been taking the same pill every day, twice daily. If it's Sunday football and I get to order pizza, I'm not taking it that day. I'm gonna eat that whole.
You can get that whole appetite back.
Yeah. But then also she was diagnosed the same medicine I was, and it was terrible for her.
You guys, you guys are,
Yeah.
So, but I feel like that happens a lot though. Just everybody I know, because doctors be like, oh well, try this. This is the new something. This is the new something. They just like toss shit at you.
Well, like,
so
why am I reluctant to be like, why do I have to be convinced that I have ADHD? It's like, I feel like there's this wave of
I feel like there's like this
influence, like trying to make me.
It's only if you
that I
can't. I
have
mean, if there's a day where you can't handle, like if you come to the point where you're like, man, I can no longer handle, like, functioning through a day in life. Like, there's got to be something.
Well, I think there's definitely some stigma around like when you have something like ADD, that it's some sort of moral failure. Like there's something that, you know, and it subverts the whole idea of medicine where like there's things, we're born with things out of our control, but somehow our society has convinced people that parts of them that are not the standard or that are divergent, right, or whatever, however you want to frame it, it's a moral failure, and like somehow you've messed up, and it's like a shameful thing.
There is a genetic component to it. I think they don't know what it is, but there would almost have to be some kind of genetic thing.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the straight data, like the statistics, if you one or both of your parents has ADD or ADHD, you're likely gonna have it.
But like they didn't know because it didn't exist.
Right.
Like my mom had a neurological order. It was neurological. That's what they called hers. Like she had.
Oh.
She definitely had. I understand. Like, she was never diagnosed. Like I could tell. What I explained to you, she would just be up random time. She was, directions. Man, I'm telling you what, right now, I am a grown 40-year-old man, and if I don't have my phone on me, I can make it right to about Douglas. That's that. Yeah. Like when you know what I had, and I'm like when somebody goes, "Oh man, it's east of," oh yeah, Michigan. Never eat shred.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Like that's I'm that.
Never eat shredded wheat.
Yep. So I'm and my mom was 100 times because while she's right, she wasn't going, "Hey, start the car. I have 9 million things to do," and she would just go. She was. Yeah. My grandma had. We used to call my grandma the cloud. She would walk to. She would cloud off. Like what they mean? Because she was a slow walker, but she would walk into, "Hey, Grandma, we're going to Town and Country. We're going to GL Perry."
Ooh.
She started walking GL Perry, and then
she gone.
She would float off like a cloud, like a little cloud. She'd be in Fannie Mae. We'd go catch her down at Fannie Mae, a couple stores down. Like, "Grandma, where were you going?" Yeah. But you know what? She had no idea why she was doing it.
Yeah.
But I mean, those things were just. Well, think about way back in the day. Like if you had senators, you'd be like, "Nope, you stupid, kill him."
Yes.
At least we're in this.
Lock him up in the house.
You seem smarter. Witch, killer. Like just setting on fire. Like I got caught on fire because I was too attentive to details.
I learned how to read.
Details yesterday.
How many different types of ADHD are there?
76 and a half.
76 and a half different types.
If you're transgender, there's 137.
You get an extra dozen.
More, you got more variables.
So I definitely fall into one of those categories.
You haven't stopped moving yet. I see your mannerisms. I see your and while people are talking, you're inside thinking about other stuff. You're ADHD. I would say.
No, I really try to listen to people though. Like that's the biggest,
that's something that somebody that says people that don't have it don't have to try to listen to anybody. They just sit there and people talk at their face. Me, I'm thinking 900 stories while someone's talking to me all the time. And while you were doing it, you're flipping a lighter, you're doing other stuff, retied your shoe. People can't do that.
Fidgeting.
Yeah.
Like I think a lot of people that if you have nervous energy in your hands, you fidget. You can there's all kinds of stuff people practice doing, like the Zoom stuff. You see those videos like, how do you talk good on Zoom? And they tell you, like, hold your hands like this, and you do that, and they wouldn't have those videos.
But I think that's different.
Well, there's different. No, there are awkward.
I think this is an
example
example of you guys trying to convince me I have ADHD.
You know you have ADHD.
Once again, just like that.
Sorry, this is actually intervention. She told me once you get here, we're supposed to attack you. And also, what if 6 therapists came out?
Yeah.
Jeff, we want to talk to you.
Listen, happy anniversary, babe.
No, I'm not.
Toss some random pills. Fuck.
I tried to get a diagnosis of it. I did. I tried to get medicated through a telemedicine thing, and it didn't go well.
Yeah, do you want to share how you did that?
Well, first off,
you don't have to.
I don't think you can get prescribed a controlled substance by anything called telemedicine.
No, I still have that. It's K-Health, and I scheduled an appointment. And I could have got some Adderall. It was on the list of things that I could get, but I was at a golf outing.
You said on the list of things you want or that you could get?
That's what I said. Yeah, that's what I said. That's exactly what I said.
Hold on. So you went somewhere to pick up a checklist?
That's the whole reason why I made the appointment.
Yeah, give me 100 Adderall. Also,
I wanted to get some Adderall.
You got morphine patches? Yeah, give me 6 of those. You show up with money?
They didn't have morphine patches available.
But on the list of things, you'd check the Adderall.
I wanted to get
what was
the
in stock.
But when I did the appointment, I was at a golf outing, and I was drinking and smoking, and my friend kept blowing up my spot, and he was yelling at me during the interview.
During the interview while you're high.
It was fucking.
Sir, you have a
He did not believe in psychiatry at all, and he was telling me these 6 beers deep.
Yeah.
Into the thing. He's my agent. Is Wayne.
Yeah.
Wayne Ryan, auctioneer, former firefighter.
Oh.
Not a good golfer.
Yeah.
Good dude though.
What was?
He was the guy who ruined my chances of getting the Adderall.
Because he was in the background and just yelling or something?
Yeah, and it made me look like a drug addict. It made me look like an irresponsible kid because I was...
It wasn't the drinking and getting high on the golf course,
Would you also to tell them how you did that appointment?
It was a telehealth.
Yeah, but what did you say to that lady?
I may have said that I was going to snort some Adderall to get some shit done. That's what I said, but it wasn't long after that, and this is what I'm saying.
Hold on, it wasn't long after that I was prescribed.
Autumn got her prescription, so I felt like
she probably didn't start the conversation with snorting.
It flipped me in the whole different direction where I was part of the machine that was influencing people to get ADHD.
Yeah.
What happens when you snort Adderall, though? Is that a real thing?
Oh yeah, it's
I
a
used
real
to snort
thing.
a lot of Ritalin, and so I thought
Is that
it
the?
kinda
Is
like
that?
That's like old school. Yeah, that's like
like
what they
old
put.
school.
That was the one thing my mom thought. They tried to put Ritalin in so long. She goes, "No, let him be. Let him be." His dad beats his ass when he needs to calm the fuck down, which he did. I'll be like, "Dad, I dig that control. I probably deserve a spanking. What do you think about 4 o'clock? All right, I'll learn. Once I start tightening butt cheeks."
My mom used to always.
11
She'd be like,
a.m..
"Oh, that fucking Kyle Quick in his mouth." Yeah,
She hated, but she still loved me.
she loved you very much, but that kid, he's got such a smart ass mouth.
I didn't plan it. I didn't make my
Do
mouth.
you guys think it would be different? Your childhood would have been different if you would have had treatment for your ADHD from a younger age. You think you would?
No, I don't think you. I don't think you know. I don't think you can. Well, that's like some. I don't want to. I don't want to say that people that when they were younger were forced to have but I feel like if you tell a kid to calm down, it's a weird thing to expect.
Yeah,
You know, and then if
they
you have
can't
to- if you-
regulate their
you know,
emotions
yeah,
yet.
they haven't and I think my mom fought really because we went to like different family therapists and shit. You know, because I was like setting my family on fire. So after the third foster home, I'm just kidding. I just trying to see if he had any
Just like-
reaction, and he was
yeah.
like, he's like, I think he's
I was
fine.
getting interesting.
So you lit 3 families on fire.
I was coming to hear about that.
He's like, damn, how's he have a show? Autumn, we gotta get the fuck out of here. Hey, happy anniversary. Hey, your friends are cool. I'm out.
Did a good job. They gotta burn them.
He's like, thanks for being on the show, light a
Where'd you
lighter.
keep those matches? Where did you put the matches?
He kept playing
It's like
kerosene
little boys,
tag.
and you're like, oh, you could see him burn.
This
Oh
place
my
sucks.
God. Yeah. I have a touch of pyromania probably if I'm self-diagnosing.
Dude, because you're a dude. Because tell me, when you were a kid, you didn't write your name in pure gasoline. Oh, and I'd light that bitch on fire.
do that.
But the problem was, it was in a garage.
Oh, can't. Open spaces.
Reminder, Kyle, delete this part. But no, after after the autopsy and that, they were like, they couldn't
cool.
prove that I'd lit the fire. you
Yeah.
know, so
Nobody will know if you burned the evidence.
well, he was kind of an asshole anyway. Yeah, you can't ride the
You got longer arms.
the DUI vehicles but you can the electric bikes. The electric bikes
What can you buy and ride around if you have a DUI now? What are your options?
anything 50 cc
Power
or
wheels?
under.
The top five
anything 50
cars
cc or
for
under.
DUI dad.
There's no cars. It's just 50 cc's or under. So it's like a
Moped.
Honda Aero scooter.
Yep. Or there'd be a Yamaha Jog or Yog.
Soft J.
The stylish drunk driving
The best
car, lost your license, the best thing you can have.
You could tell somebody that had their third Dewey when they have that regular 50cc, right? But they got a fucking Harley body. They have over 3 years of working at Taco Bell. They made enough to build that whole body right around it.
Trick it out.
Right, but during those 3 years, they still had to stop by Dave's Pub and just get a hit all the time.
It's a way of life. It's a
Dewey
lifestyle.
Louie.
I mean, it stopped me from the third time I got pregnant.
Yeah.
Thought I was gonna have twins. But
Didn't work out.
no, I found out I was lactose.
Lactose?
Lactose.
Yeah, it wasn't baby. It's just a bunch of cheese. Yeah.
just lactose.
Super Bowl cheese.
Yeah, yeah.
The sausage was in there too, but
Yep. Build the home. Can't make a house.
you can only wipe until it's bloody, and then you have to.
boy.
Well,
Yeah.
don't look at me and judge me automatically.
I'm not judging
Look,
you.
Well,
I had to take a lot of pain meds this last
yeah,
year.
but you had a surgery. You didn't just have cheese.
I was there for a long time.
So hey, she was saying that
There
she
for like
called you
3
out.
days.
Said you were like extremely supportive the entire time.
Yeah, I was
and-
walking around the hospital wearing the same clothes and just like wandering around. There wasn't anything happening there, but she was okay. It was fun. I can do that kind of stuff, but it grinds my gears. Mowing the lawn sucks.
We get lost in something. Well, you know what? It
Bullshit.
sounds. I'm not gonna put a diagnosis on it, but a room full of ADHD. I'm gonna put a name on it, but it sounds like we're all in the nest,
can,
eating
like,
the same
recall your
words.
nest.
No, but you said what? Say it again. Sorry.
the same words.
And worm. I don't know what nests are bringing. Do birds bring? I was thinking of bird nests. I don't know if
Oh
they bring
my
worms.
God.
Oh,
they
what
bring-
was I gonna say? Disney adults grind my gears for real though.
Oh,
Disney
I'm not.
adult, a girl with a nice Mickey Mouse shirt, and she likes everything made of felt.
Yeah.
I think red flag, red flag is if any chick walks up to you in any Mickey Mouse shirt. But if she walks up in a Tasmanian devil shirt, that's that Walmart 1994 special. When Space Jam was done, they've been done for a couple years. Like, what do we do with all these shirts? First off, they sent all of them to Africa. You see those Just just the people
Remote villages?
half dying in Africa, all wearing fucking
Late 90s Disney?
Yeah, like just Taz, Sylvester the Cat shirt, Tweety Bird shirts.
The worst.
They're all wearing
Marvin the Martian.
Marvin the Martian.
We're like, damn, that's what we gave them.
The worst is when you see the T-shirts that were made for like a Super Bowl, but that were made by the team that didn't win.
We said all the there's years of Colts Super Bowls over there in Africa. Hey, but you know what? Hey, I'd rather do that. Fuck yeah, do that. I mean, at least it's going somewhere. At least it's going somewhere.
That Tasmanian devil shirt.
If any chick goes, I really love going. I love going to Disney. I'm like, all right, see ya.
It's a magical place.
How many of your therapists said that they're gonna find someone else? She goes, all of them. Oh. It's like a Mickey voice? No, just during sex. Oh my god, I'm a
Wait. What is the noise?
Did
What
you
is
double
the...
duck?
Isn't that what Mickey always says?
Oh yeah.
I don't know what he says.
like,
Does he say things?
It's like, hey.
Yeah.
What you're trying to get into? Like you're doing one of those. What's one of those things called in the
Kazoo?
Close. Like you know the things at the
One time at band
South
camp.
Africa they go right into the recorder.
Didgeridoos?
Didgeridoos.
Didgeridoos?
Yes. I just think of the Ricola guys. Remember the old commercial? Ricola. They had those big ass horns. Like I'm just here to get these cough drops. Why you're
You love my flogging snoodle.
why you're screaming at me, sir?
Your flogging schnoodle?
Isn't that what it's called?
I
don't think.
Is that a word?
That's that horn, that big.
Oh, is that what it's called?
The
I call
Ricola
it.
horn?
I just called it Ricola commercial.
It's
It
called a
probably does
flogging
have a name to it. How do you know the name of that? You say quiz guy? Are you like you good at like?
I looked it up.
Oh,
Yeah,
just
he
right
likes.
now?
Yeah.
He like. He, you have. I feel like you
I
have.
looked
Oh, I thought it was like
before. I kicked
the
it
mall.
at Mitch's. That's where we had our little cruise at Mitch's on the corner of Ironwood.
Hey, so let me ask you.
Madison.
When
So,
it's Mitch's,
yeah,
Mitch, comma S.
yeah. It's Mitch's Mitch. There's two Mitches.
Okay, so there's two Mitches.
I'm pretty sure there might be at least.
Wait, does
But I'm
one
just
Mitch
saying,
There
belong
could be,
to
there
the
could
other?
be 3 or 4.
It's possessive, right?
There's my question.
Somebody would-
my original, and I think I've already been proven wrong, but my original thing, I thought that if it was a bunch of Mitches, it should be at the end.
Yeah, right. It makes sense.
But is this one this Mitch's pop?
So there's probably 4 Mitches, and then 3 of them.
Well, no,
probably
there's- I
own
think
that.
there's only-
So they're excluding one Mitch.
Because aren't they called like first base? That's not called Mitch's.
What they explained to me was that when you're there, you're like a Mitch. So it's like being like a Steve if you're cool enough
What?
to be able to be there.
You gotta be real.
Did you make
cool
that
there,
up?
Steve.
No, it was just some bullshit somebody that would say like.
No, that would jump the to the.
Oh, like when you were hanging out at
hey,
Mitch's.
welcome.
Yeah.
I see.
That was the Mitch
Okay.
we're going around.
I
yeah.
see. My brain took a minute.
So you're then a bunch of Mitches, like you're in. I get it. That makes sense.
Sons of Mitches.
Because I looked at it and I'm like,
Mitches.
We were just on the scene at Mitch's playing trivia. We're like, oh yeah, it's so cool.
Cool beans.
Yeah, things are pretty exciting. The nightlife in Ironwood on South
Michiana.
Bend is so exciting. Oh yeah, Red Alert. You got a great band coming.
My dad's band performed a couple weeks ago at Joey Armadillo's in Niles. It was a blast.
Joey fucking Armadillos.
It was so fun. They played outside and a ton of people showed up. The music was great. It was a blast. It was also really fun to watch him have so much fun.
Yeah.
And he was playing with a group of guys that they worked really hard to try to like get where they wanted to be before they played a show.
Yeah.
I remember it's the first time my dad's played like an actual gig in, oh my God, like 20 plus years.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, because he was a guitarist,
Yeah, I
in the
remember,
80s,
like-
and he's always played on and off, but he hasn't been in like a band that's gone out and like done shows. So I hope that they play another one because it was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
But yeah,
they
their
sounded
band
really
is
good.
Red Alert.
Kicked it with several Mitches. Yeah.
Yeah, not yet.
Yeah.
Nope. You only get that if you pass the next
Was
test.
is that apostrophe technically?
Yeah.
Right.
I'll have to drive by and look. I'm not sure.
Oh no, it's at the end because it
I
does.
know what you're
it makes
talking
sense.
about.
It's not because I go. Well, wouldn't it be a plural like this is I'm Mitch. This is Mitch's.
Well, it's
place.
crazy because
But it's if you're now a bunch of Mitches.
it's a
So
whole.
if all you
Yes.
Mitches
it's a
hang
whole-
out,
It's a bunch of Mitches.
Yeah.
when all you Mitches hang
All
out,
you bitches.
Okay, I would totally go there.
It does make that. That's the only explanation that makes 100% sense. Because somebody else told me, he goes, "Oh, it's because there's several Mitches." Like, well, that does make sense, but
All you Mitches hang out.
if you're a Mitch, you're a Mitch. Don't act like you ain't no Mitch.
I got 99 problems.
Running your mouth like a little Mitch.
I'm gonna Mitch ass Mitch.
Boy.
It's probably one of them. Are we live? We're live. We recording.
live?
There we go. Here we go. Hey, welcome back to the
Are we talking?
Now we're just making noises. No, no, but no. Seriously, no. I'm glad that the reason I had you on is because you've, you're always obviously a ball to have conversations with, but just in the biggest year I've seen in a change than anybody else. So, so I appreciate it. I mean, is there anything left you have to say? You want to do any shout outs?
Oh,
any puppet animals that people could hear?
No, I mean, I think it's been a really hard year, but I knew that when I decided to have these surgeries, that it was going to be a hard year, and I committed myself to that, and it was like, all right, you need to dedicate 1 year, and you need to get this shit done so that you can live the rest of your life without being poked and prodded all the time and constantly worried that the next time you get a mammogram, they're going to find something.
Be it.
And I went in with that mentality of like, all right, let's do this shit. And I had great insurance, and I feel very lucky that I was able to take as much time off as I did. And I feel better, and like getting ready for this surgery was also a labor of love, because I had to lose weight to be in better shape to recover. And that was something that my doctors and I talked about right when we were like, all right, we're going to do this. And it was like, we got to get you, like, you've got to drop as much as you can, because there's more complications when you're a person in a bigger body recovering from a major surgery. And so it was like working on that, and then, like coming to terms with the fact that my body was already changing, because when you lose weight, it's for a person that was big growing up, like there's always a shift, and people treat you differently, and it's weird, and it makes me uncomfortable. And so I was like working through that, and then you throw massive plastic surgery on top of it, and then you throw like a new job change, and it was so much transformation at once, and it feels so good to be done for a little while. I'm so tired, and it has been one of the hardest years personally that I've had in a long time. And I'm just glad.
And you've had a lot of stretch of some pretty rough ones.
Jesus Christ. It's like I
hope to God your next year goes well, because I don't want to just every year we meet be like, okay, so you lost your half body.
Yeah.
And your left eye. So
yeah.
you had
I don't
rickets.
want to do that
How'd you
anymore.
get rickets again? Since rickets has been gone. I don't know.
You brought him back?
You rickets?
You brought the rickets back?
Agent 101, rickets looking.
Yes. Yes, sir. That's how it feels. But it's also funny because these surgeries were elective. Like, yes, highly recommended and encouraged by my doctors. But at the end of the day, you can choose not to do any of those things, which a lot of people do. And like, I respect that. You got to do what you got to do. But for me, it was like, well, yeah, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to just do it. I'm going to try to make the best of it. And I watched TV shows, and I did what I did, and it was, I don't know, it's just been a good year, and I'm looking forward to next year. Barnes and I in February of last year ended up in New Orleans together, and we had so much fun that we decided that we were going to join a crew. So we will be on a float throwing things from the float in the parades the Friday night of Mardi Gras.
What is the Friday night of Mardi Gras?
It is February 9th, I think.
Oh, my birthday's late February. I might skirt down.
It's early. Mardi Gras is early this year. Last year it was like almost at the end of February.
I heard somebody was like, "Man, your birthday, you should go down to Mardi Gras," and I was like, "Well, I make bad decisions." Like,
it
don't
is
do that.
So fun. It is it's fun because it's not like a bunch of people are descending on a town that fucking hates a celebration.
Oh yeah, they have them like it's like a daily
No,
thing.
they're
Yeah,
in
they're,
it.
in it.
Oh, the community's involved and everybody's excited and there's all these traditions and it's rad. And we just had a fucking blast. And we stayed outside of the hubbub. We stayed like kind of in like the hood because I like to travel that way.
Well,
I like to be near people and I like to be near people that live there all year long. And these people were awesome and there's fucking great bakeries, there's good restaurants. And you know, you're going to the corner store at 2 a.m. to get ramen. And it's like, you know, it's what it is. It's a little scary.
You get ramen and a little sack of weed. You have.
But I also fucking lived in Oakland for 10 years.
Yeah, I was about to say. Plus, you were born and raised in South Bend, so South Bend's not rough, but like at least you're exposed to like.
You're exposed to things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Culture, I guess.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yes. So we're doing that next year. And so
like this upcoming February.
Yes. Yep, I actually just talked to the lady that's planning which float you go on, and then they assign you. It's called your lieutenant, and when you're on the floats, it's funny because you have to be tethered. You have to be in a harness because some people get so fucked up that they fall off.
Yeah.
That they fall off, so you have to get.
They fall off stationary floats.
Yes, they're all hammered because like there's a pre-party.
Candy. I probably try to throw candy and shit at people and they're just falling off.
So a party, like part of your, because you have to pay dues. You have to pay an amount of money, and not all crews they're not all created equal. So, there are multiple that are only men. You can't be in there if you weren't invited. If you don't come from a family that started it, like there's all these rules, but the one that we signed up for is called the Crew of Morpheus, and it's the god of sleep. And their kitsch, so every crew has their kitsch of things that they throw. Mm-hmm. And if you get one of the thing that's like cool with that crew, it's like a collector's item. So like there's a crew called the Crew of Muses, and it's all women, and they decorate these beautiful high heel shoes. And if you get a Muse shoe, it's like a big deal.
Damn.
Morpheus, it's sleep masks.
Oh, I thought you like throwing like Bill Cosby pills or something.
Nope. No roofies. That'd be expensive. That'd be hell of expensive.
Guys, we only have 60 this year.
I mean, millions of kids that you're throwing stuff to.
Well, kids, you crack them in half, obviously. Don't drug
you don't do a hole. You don't do a hole.
We're not here for that. Listen, hey, I'll say we're pretty proper. We don't want to.
We just had a ball last year, and I will tell you, it's the funniest shit. The first night that we were there was the Friday that it was Thursday, the Thursday before Mardi Gras. So it's like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then Fat Tuesday. But there's parades going on all month. So that Thursday we decide like to go down to Bourbon Street, right? Because I've never seen it. I'd never been to New Orleans. And I'm like, let's just check it out. Like, I'm not really into the tourist shit, but like it's worth a visit. So we go down there, and it's as sloppy as you think it is. And it's busy. And then I'm like, I want to go watch the parade. So we go up to like one of the main streets, and all that we're watching, and it's awesome. It's beautiful. It's like they're doing cool shit. There's fucking like, you know, people, batons, and all of a sudden it it drops 20 degrees in a matter of seconds. And I look at Barnes and I was like, what? And I'm wearing a jean jumpsuit.
That seems like something you'd wear.
There's glitter, and I'm wearing a crown with stars in it, and I'm wearing like a pink mesh bra, and I got on a jean fucking jumpsuit, a one-piecer, and it just pours on everybody.
Damn, so it drops, it starts raining like crazy.
Oh, deluge. We were soaked from head to toe. Everything was soaked. Ain't nothing worse than being in wet jeans. Now take that a step up to a whole jean jumpsuit. And I'm freezing, and I'm in the jeans that are starting to freeze, and it's cold. Oh, it's so bad. That was amateur night. We learned that night, like, all right, we don't go here for the parades. We don't go here.
We don't
next
wear
night,
denim. We don't wear any
We don't wear
denim.
denim jumpsuits. So the next night we did a bunch of things differently, and we encountered that crew, and they were so much fun, and they were so interactive. And I started following them on Instagram.
Yeah.
And then we were on our way home, and Toons and Griff we went on a road trip because that's what we do. And Toons was like snuggling with a little like Morpheus plush toy.
And who's Toons again?
Petunia, the dog.
Got you. Okay.
Tunes.
I was thinking Tunes. Like, you have a new friend named Tunes?
No, my dog Tunes.
I got you.
And she was playing with a little plush thing that we had gotten from that crew, and I tagged them in it, and they started reposting my stuff, and so they did a post a couple weeks later, and it was like, hey, if you're interested in joining the crew, we're open to men and women. We're nationwide, so you don't have to be a resident of New Orleans.
Oh shit! Okay.
And
there you go.
here are the different tiers. Like you can do the deluxe, and so I texted Barnes. I was like, hey, so Morpheus is accepting new applications. You want to do that? Because we had so much fun that when we left, we were like, we're absolutely doing this again.
Yeah.
So let's do it the right way. So we actually have we're going to do some crafting, and we're going to design some masks, and there's just fun shit to look forward to next year. And
that's awesome.
You know, and I like the holidays, and Halloween's here, and it's spooky, and I just am glad to feel better. I'm really
happy.
glad.
You went through that's a journey.
I'm really glad to feel better mentally, and I'm glad to be healed.
Yeah.
Because it was really difficult. It was really difficult to stay positive when you're scared that you're going to lose your job and your insurance, and then you have a surgery and things, are pretty well, and then they don't, then they go south because you have complications.
Death. Yeah. I mean, you had all those words.
It was just a hard year. But I was really lucky that I got a lot of help, and, I don't know what I would have done without Jeff. I mean, that dude just slept on the tiny ass couch in the ICU for 2 days and ran errands and took care of my dogs and grocery shopped and went to the pharmacy. I put his life on hold just to come up to take care of me because we don't live together. And so it's not easy. It's not easy when you don't live together. And he just made it happen, and he did my laundry and did all sorts of things. And I felt very fortunate to have a partner that was willing to step up. Cause
I mean, you've had a bad history. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the last time I had a major surgery, 3 months later, I found out old dude had a whole ass fucking side chick for a year. And,
well, no, I mean, no, honestly, I do see, I know you had a rough year, and just see you when you put a 12th week after poster, that was I could see you actually happy. I could see, I was like,
yes.
Yeah, she's back, and I was like, I gotta have her on. I'd love to talk about this.
Yeah.
Just because honestly, because you're one of those people that will have you could have the roughest year. Other people might hate their day, hate their week, hate their month, but then they go, damn. Because even after your first story, holy shit, she went through the gauntlet, and I go, and she's still the same person. So to keep that positivity, it's not easy, and and I know a lot of people listening, they love to hear that.
Thanks. So it's I feel like in most instances things can always get better, right? And when you go through hard times, and great times, I think it's important to remember that nothing's permanent.
Yeah.
And it helps you to gain perspective, and I just feel lucky that I didn't get cancer, and I was able to have all these surgeries, and so I don't, hopefully never have to deal with this, and I'm just grateful, dude. I think there's a lot to be grateful for in this world. And, it's interesting living, I had only planned to come home for a year to help Courtney sort of get back to where she needed to be. But, one of the things that I think needed to happen is I needed to get right with this place. And I think I might have mentioned that the last time we talked, is I felt like I needed to get right with home, because I had had so many things muddied up.
Yeah.
And, and then I fell in love with somebody here, and I didn't really plan to do that. And then I don't know, it the last few months, there's been some real sort of what have you been running from this whole time? Because I feel like I've been chasing something, or running, not running away from problems, but I'm looking for something, but I can't fucking find it. And it doesn't matter where I live, and it doesn't matter what job I'm doing. It's I'm seeking always seeking something else. And my relationship has instilled a sense of stability in that, like, I have a partner who has a kid in school, who has parents that he's close with here, who is rooted in this area and like wants to travel and is like, yeah, let's get a place in Chicago, like whatever. We can live in California one day, and is game for that. But right now he can't go anywhere. And it's like, for me, it's sort of like made me think, like, what am I seeking? What am I looking for that I think I'm going to find somewhere else? Because I don't think the problem is where I'm at. It's whatever's going on with me.
The solution's been always right here at home.
That's right. Right in your heart center. You know? You got to heal up that shit. And, you know, and then I think about the very, like, basic sort of facts about living in this part of the country. And I'm like, it's a climate haven. We're in a climate haven, and the cost of living is still relatively low, and I own a home, and it's only going to get larger in value. And I get to watch my niece and nephew, so I get to see them regularly. And I don't see them a lot, but I see them way more than I did when I lived in
Oakland or Oregon or Washington. Yeah.
And I also get the opportunity to watch Jeff's daughter Olivia grow up.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm not trying to be anybody's like overbearing stepmom, but I do get to be her friend. And I like that a lot.
Yeah.
And I like her mom. And it's nice to be part of a different family unit too. And I that's something that I think I've missed for a long time. And that was one of the sadder parts of my divorce too, is I really missed the family.
Yeah, the connection.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, I just got a birthday card from my former mother-in-law, and they still sign their cards, love mom and dad. And we've been divorced for years. But I missed that. And so it's nice to have that with Jeff.
Yeah.
And he, you know, he's also a little older too. And so he's like, babe, like, we just gotta like stick around a little bit longer. And, you know, like, let's just see what happens to the kids. And it's cool. And like, I don't know.
The best thing to chase is what you're doing now, you know? I mean, at the end of the day, if you're happy where you're at.
Yeah, I'm happy where I'm at. It's been good. So.
Listen, you're a townie. Stop chasing it. Stop acting like you ain't. Girl, you gonna live and die in the Midwest. Stop acting like it. I don't care if you're here in Louisville or Tennessee. You're a Midwesterner, so.
But yeah, it's good. I feel good, man. And
I'm happy. Well, shit, we should wrap it up. You got any shout outs you got? You already shouted out.
Yeah, I'm gonna shout it out. Shout it out to my beloved. Happy 2 years with you, Boo Boo.
Yeah,
and love you very much. And you know, shout out to all the homies trying to figure out what to do with their lives next. Because I feel like so many of us are at a crossroads in what we want to do and how we want to spend our time. And I hope that you get the guts to go for what you fucking want, and to know that no matter how hard you work to be appreciated, if they don't appreciate you, it's never going to happen. So you have to find another way. And yeah, I hope that folks find what they're looking for, and I hope they're brave, and, you know, even if things that they want to change are uncomfortable, that they try them. Because there's a dynamic happening in our generation right now.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, I got so many responses from that video I posted. Just people being like, Jesus Christ, I needed to see that. Like, I felt so stuck and I don't know what to do. And it was me. It was just like I had had a lot of coffee. And I was waiting for my train to pick me up. And I was like, here's a little video about things in my world right now. And I'm pretty happy. Yeah. And then it inspired dozens of messages to come in. So yeah, that was shout out to the homies that are figuring out the next step. You know? And shout out to you, my friend, in whatever you choose to do for your next step.
Yeah, I'm hoping that I just get to like lay in this chair and just move positions just for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Because I can do like an upside down maneuver, you know. Again, that's why we would need cameras so they can see that I'm a little upside down on my chair.
Yeah.
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 No, I appreciate it. Yeah. But no, I mean, I'm glad you have it on. We made it till what? We got almost 4 hours.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. He doesn't show up till real late.
Yeah, we're about to meet up and go get some food.
Oh yeah. I might need to eat today too. It is 8:30. Holy God.
I know.
Time flies.
I've been here for 7.5 hours.
Good Lord. Yeah, we'd have a lot of off-camera combos. I love it. But well, no, I mean, thanks for coming in. Appreciate it, and thank you for being a part of the 30th episode. And hell yeah, we got to get a pick at the end with you hold one of the letters, I hold the other one.
Yes.
Or numbers, right? That's what a 3
numbers.
and 0 is.
Yeah, those
literally
are letters.
called them letters. Well, again, I'd like to shout out John Adams High School for its help in making me real smart. Well, thanks everybody for listening to the KQ Show.
Good old Stone Age Ice Age.
That's gonna love that one. He's like, you